Hello, everybody. Excuse me. Hello, everybody, as I'm ready to cough my lungs out. How's everybody doing? I see Anne in the comments. 2 lives in 1 week. Well, we're going to do 2 today, Anne. We're going to do 2 today. Yeah, I was going to do them as 1. Hey, Hope. Hey, Marie Curie. Thank you to the beautiful mods and everybody that's here. Hey, Snow Feathers. Nice to see you. Let's just say hi to people that are here. Love you all. Yes, I'm going to do 2 lives today. We're going to do at 2 p.m. We're going to do Melody Buzzard. There's an interesting video that I'm sure most of you have not seen. And we're going to update the Tepe family situation. We're going to update that. It won't be as long a live as this one. That's at 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to do something a little different today, though. I'm going to pull cards. We're going to watch a lot of videos on this, what happened to Nancy Guthrie. Savannah Guthrie, who is the Today newscast host, was supposed to be going to the Olympics, from what I understand, this Friday to host the Olympics, and has had to bow out because her mom is missing. I did a reading yesterday. It was a short reading because it was really quick. So what I want to do today, somebody asked me to do another reading to see if they heard the words water nearby. So we're going to do another reading, but we're going to follow the new updates of the case and then pause and pull some cards. Does that sound okay with you all? Thank you, Marie Curie, sweetie, for being here. My baby's army, hope floats. And apologies to Donna when she comes in. If she comes in, Deanna, nice to see you, my dear. Donna's always asking me to do things on schedule, but true crime is so hard to do on schedule, especially with working. Although I'm currently not guaranteed hours anymore because the girl who was full-time and was going to childcare decided she doesn't like childcare and wants her full-time hours back. So now I'm not being guaranteed any hours. So I'm looking for another job, if you can imagine. Yes. Anyway, that's life, eh? So why I'm also here a little bit more so this week. But I missed y'all. I really missed you all when I wasn't here. Okay, we clean for sit. Nice to see you. Okay, we're gonna get into this right now. What do y'all think about this case? This is wild, and I've heard so many people. If you're new here and you don't know my story, I've heard so many reporters, which is kind of like, well, and police officers, if you will, kind of here's the property in question, actually say, whoops, wrong one, actually say, when it's elders that are involved, law enforcement get right involved. Well, that wasn't the case with my dad. It wasn't the case with my dad. So, sweetie, thank you, honey. And I got to apologize to the mods and everybody here. I'm all over the place. Just when I think my life is going to stabilize with a job, something happens. Like I have been trying to get a job, unquote, quote unquote, with a regular pay for 18 months. The job market is atrocious in Canada. And yeah. So it is what it is. So this is one of the reasons I'm back and forth. So I'm just going to stop telling you, and we're just going to go with it. And whatever happens, happens. Hey, Nova Gray, the best thing to do is subscribe so that you know when I'm going live. I'll be live again today. We're going to do Melody Buzzard and Tepe updates, Monique and Spencer Tepe updates. But let's get into this, Nancy Guthrie, because this is sad. And I did a reading yesterday again. Here's the property. We're going to watch a bunch of videos today. And I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to pull cards. So if you're not into tarot, this is probably not for you. Our lives are just the same. I know. You're the same. Oh, yeah, I know. I don't know how some people do it. Like, but this, you got to be full-time in true crime. You really do. If you want because the algorithm only rewards like repeat and same time and same type. And I have not been consistent. Okay. So there's the property. Let's just look around here, and then we're going to look at some videos. The first thing that comes to my mind is, well, I'll tell you intuitively, when I pulled the cards yesterday, I I always am reluctant to say things without verification, especially at first. But I got the hit that they may be delaying asking for ransom. And one of the police officers that I listened to in researching and preparing for this today, one of the cops said they may wait to call in for ransom, although that's looking like, if that doesn't happen today or tomorrow, then that's likely not what they're after, because her life is in imminent danger without her medication, the police have said. 84 years old, living alone. Apparently, I saw someone else's comments on a podcast. I'll read those to you, who lives in the area. Okay. She commented, because they're asking for surveillance. And apparently this neighborhood is somewhat remote outside of Tucson and doesn't have, I'm guessing, based on the fact that they're still pleading for more surveillance, so they put up a $2,500 reward. Like, come on, guys, get serious. I'm sorry, I don't mean to diminish what they're doing, but $2,500 ain't going to cut it. I think it should have been a minimum of $25,000. Do you agree or disagree? I don't think $2,500 is going to cut it. I really don't. I'm not sure why that is for such a high profile case that is in such imminent danger. This woman, Nancy, beloved mother of Savannah Guthrie, the host of the Today Show. And they've said she has to get her meds imminently. She was taken. We're going to watch some videos that they believe now that there's blood DNA in the homes. Blood has been found. The newest, last in the few minutes, confirmed by mainstream media. Blood's been found now potentially on the scene. So my original hit was, let me pull up that video or that comment as well from somebody here. Let me read that first. And my hit was that they were going to wait until she was like desperately in need of the medication to throw out a hostage call. But I might be wrong. I might be wrong if this doesn't happen. But about that community. So Zara Ballard posted, I don't even remember which podcast this was this morning. Okay. But she writes, when they say this is a safe area, they mean it in big cap letters, mean. I've past tense, in Nancy's neighborhood. Oh, she does still live there for 35 years. And there is no crime up in capital letters here to speak of, ever, in caps. This is a very affluent area next to the mountain, far outside the city, with multi-million-dollar homes and gated communities. The card I pulled yesterday said, but this was before I got the confirmation. The card said medical care staff. And now it would appear that somebody that had access to the property, because police have not said, it looks like they forced their way in. Now I'm not certain, but this is what I'm getting, right? They were going, excuse me. It says gated communities, and it's a long winding road to get up there. It's all desert. A criminal, in caps, a criminal would have to have known exactly where they were going and how to get in. She has to know this person. It would not be random. This is so scary. Most of that is in all caps. Broken into and blood found. Okay, so broken into and blood found. I didn't hear the broken into. No, she's postponed her going to the Olympics. Oh, you're wondering if that had anything to do with it. Yeah, and let's watch a few videos. And then as I said, I'm going to, and I didn't know that they said that it was broken into as well. So let's watch that if it comes up. I don't know where you saw that confirmation, but that's really interesting. And that's very scary because there's no reports, which I wanted to say, if you look around here, like, it's remote, but if we go above, let's go above the scene. If I can get we can go above here. There is like it's remote, but it's not, there's not a lot of there's trees. Yeah, but look, like it's not that remote that you wouldn't think you could hear somebody screaming. So, what did somebody cover her mouth upon entry? I mean, gosh, only knows. But this is really sad and scary, and I'm really, really hoping that she's found alive. But the longer the time goes on, the less likely that feels, the less likely that feels. Okay, are you gonna pay? Let's go. I'm having my challenges with my my internet today. Okay, let's watch this. Uh, and I do feel like this person, and again, if you have a question you want me in these videos to pull cards to, let me know. Or otherwise, I'm just going to stop intuitively. But I feel like this person knew the family's, relation to Savannah, but it could be completely wrong.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox. The time 9:13 on the East Coast and 6:13 on the West Coast. I do want to get you right back into some of the big stories that we are covering here as we have the latest on the search for the 84-year-old mother of Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie. Investigators in Arizona saying they believe Nancy Guthrie could have been kidnapped or abducted. I want to bring in Irene Snyder over at Fox 10 Phoenix to break down all of the latest. And Irene, there's a lot we know, and at this point, a lot we still don't know.
Yeah, exactly. We could continue to get more information overnight and into the morning hours, but still a lot of information we're trying to get here this morning. We're just outside the Catalina foothills, which is outside Tucson. You can see this is the home of Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. You can take a look here and see some of her friends and neighbors put out a sign here for the family saying that they stand with the Guthrie family here. Many of them expressing their thoughts and prayers for the Guthrie family. And the Pima County Sheriff's Department is now asking the public for help as the search continues here today. Now, the 84-year-old woman went missing on Saturday night. She was last seen at her home outside of Tucson. At this point, it's believed she was taken against her will. That means a possible kidnapping or abduction in the middle of the night. Guthrie's phone, car, and keys all left behind in the home. The Pima County Sheriff Department's homicide.
I also heard it confirmed that her wallet was also left behind. So her medication, her car, her keys, her ID. This is not good. It's not good. But they don't believe a house invasion, because then why would they not just take what they wanted to take and then leave her there, right? So the other possibility is, was she kidnapped with the intent of getting ransom, and then something happened to her and now she's no longer alive, right? So let's keep listening. Sad. And then I'll pull some cards again after this before we watch the next video.
Investigation team has now been brought in to help with the investigation because they say concerning circumstances were discovered here at the home. Sheriff Nano's also telling Fox 10 that DNA is being flown to a lab in Phoenix for rapid testing, but he did not say how that was connected to the case.
There's something that's not right. It's unsettling. We need to do a little more. I'm going to have I want our search and rescue team out there. I want them to do their good job. We need our criminal investigation team out there to make sure that, one, like I say, time is important in these cases, but also make sure we're not missing something.
And the Sheriff's Department, again, asking for the community's help. PCSD released this flyer with a QR code to Digital Pitline. Investigators also asking for information, photos, videos, anything that could help. And Savannah Guthrie posting about her mom's disappearance on social media for the first time. And she is asking for prayers. She said in part, quote, "Raise your prayers with us and believe that she will be lifted by them in this very moment." We need you. And we're going to keep you posted. We're going to be here throughout the morning as well, with hopefully getting some more information here on the case. We'll send it back to you.
And Irene, I did want to ask you, because one thing that's interesting, it's been brought up, is how far apart the homes might be there and whether or not somebody could have heard something. What can you kind of break down about that?
So, I'm used to a lot of homes in Phoenix, very close together development. There are neighbors here, but I mean, it's a decent distance apart. I don't think anyone could have heard anything based on exactly where.
See, that is so surprising to hear her say that. I don't think so. You Gutterbug, I'm going to answer that in a minute, hon. I'm going to pull some cards too. Let's just finish this. It's almost done, this interview.
Where these homes are here, they're very spread apart. It's very much, I don't want to say a full rural area because there are several homes here, but the neighbors are not anywhere close to the home. She has a decent sized yard as well. So as far as hearing anything, any disturbance, I don't know if they'd be able to from where they're located out here.
All right. Irene Snyder there, Fox 10 Phoenix. Thank you so much for being here with us. We appreciate it. And of course, we'll stay in touch. And Irene was talking a little bit about the response coming in from Savannah Guthrie. She posted this statement right here saying, quote, "On behalf of our family, I want to thank everyone for the thoughts, prayers, and messages of support. Right now, our focus remains on the safe return of our dear mom." Now, we are expecting to hear from the sheriff just a little bit later on this morning, sometime around 11:10 Eastern time. I'm going to be conducting an interview with him to ask him questions about all of this. And of course,
yeah, let's pull cards to see if I get anything similar to yesterday's. Like, if you are new here, you'll know that I don't. Hold on, I'm just trying to find the right one. I don't pull cards once and declare that to be factual. So I have to also just say, and I've said this before, but I definitely have plans this year. For some reason, I don't work cases on this channel the way I do with the Find Me group. And I don't know why that is. I think it's just a habit that I got into. I don't think there's any particular reason. And so I'm going to start doing the preliminary and then work that I would normally do with the Find Me group. And the first thing we do is I tap into a deceased or alive. And I can normally get a hit off that immediately. And that's really important to know. So let's see. I'm not in a meditative state. I haven't focused on her picture. So let's see what the cards say. If I had to guess right now, I still think she's still alive right now, but I don't know for long if I'm right. I live close by that neighborhood is wealthy. Yeah, that's what someone else was just saying. I read their comments, who somebody that lives there for 35 years. Okay, what do the cards have to say about Nancy Guthrie? This one fell out, affair cheating, so I'm not going to take it. I'll go up here. I know a lot of you guys want to see see that one deliberately flipped. I don't take ones that fall out. AI. So I don't know what this AI is. I'm really getting technology with this, but let's see. Technology. Treason. I'm going to get a little more. I'm going to get a clarifier on the AI. Dismemberment. That's not good. Okay, let's get clarifiers here. That's not good. Doesn't need to be a literal dismemberment of the body. I will get clarifiers, but we've got repetition and pattern and conspiracy theory. Okay, 5. It's a very interesting reading. 5. Oh, half the deck just fell over. Bear with me. I'm going to do 3 more in this deck. Oh, I think yesterday's reading was more on point, leaning towards a caretaker. That's what I got yesterday. If you didn't see yesterday's, I got a caretaker. In fact, medical staff. Thief. Plot twist. Unavoidable natural disaster. Okay. Is that because that kind of just, I got goosebumps. That kind of thief. We've got treason, cleaning up, perhaps cleaning up a scene. Plot twist, natural disaster. When I put these together, when I put these together, it certainly makes me, or that they were intentionally going to kidnap her for money, right? And perhaps, like I said, and what we're going to watch a video soon. There's several of my favorite true crime ex-FBIs and commentators we're going to watch here. One of them said exactly, it feels like it could have been an attempted kidnapping originally, and maybe something happened where she either died or because she didn't have her meds. And so now we get plot twist and natural disaster. I got goosebumps. Like, I feel like that could be wrong, but feels someone familiar with the habits. That's exactly right. That's what I was going to say. Repeated pattern. The repeated pattern of taking her medication, maybe. And that's what I was getting yesterday that I started to say earlier. We also had, like, yesterday, we had like a group, almost like a clan. What was it? Like a clan. So I don't know what this is. And I don't know what this is other than digital, but I think I'm going to get clarifiers on these. But you're right. I feel like yesterday, like I said, I felt like they were going to wait for some reason. And then I heard a police detective to call in for ransom because they knew. I didn't get a new. I just got this feeling they were going to wait. And then I hear this detective suggesting that if they knew that the timing for her medication was becoming imminent, that they might more likely call for a hostage kidnapping situation when the family would know that it is dire for mom because she didn't take her medication. So now I'm wondering, I don't think it's a cover-up. I just think, or a covering up of a crime, you mean? I don't know. But this dismemberment to me means that they tried to remove evidence. Now, blood on the scene, they've tried to take evidence away. That could just be representative of cleaning up. Maybe, I mean, I think if there was a massive amount of blood on the scene, then maybe this would be just, literal as in, discardment, or dismemberment, but I'm taking it as discardment, like just throwing out stuff. And she might have been part of this stuff. Yeah, but the blood could suggest some struggle. Exactly. No, Marie Curie, I'm not saying there was no struggle. I think it's obvious there had to be a physical altercation if there's blood in the house, right? Let's see, and then I want to go back to some videos. Let's see what this AI is. I really feel like it's technology, and it could be that the person themselves, is a conspiracy theorist, because we had member of a clan or group before. Like, maybe they do have some sort of agenda against Savannah, I want to get clarifiers on conspiracy and AI. This one flipped out. Mountain Road, on the road to success. This issue is very sharp mentally. Exactly. Mountain Road, on the road to success. I mean, got success yesterday too. Like, I do think they are going to catch this person and to find her. Whether she'll be alive is going to be another story. I'm going to pull the pendulum for that in a second about whether she's deceased or alive. I'm leaning towards alive, but I don't know for how long. Like I said, these two fell out. Hills. Look at this. Obstacles to overcome. There's reference to the hills. So, you know, we got 2 mountain cards. She's not far. Oh, I got goosebumps. Oh, I got goosebumps. She's not far. She's not far. Ooh, I got massive goosebumps. I'm wondering if she's in the same community. And then we got great fortune, good luck. They're going to find her. Okay. Period of prosperity and abundance for bread. So somebody looking for money. Situations in the balance that require careful handling. Yeah, no kidding. Okay, let me pull my pendulum because I'm getting, this could be the technology that they're going to find out where she goes with this person and when the DNA results come back. I think that she is in the community. I'm starting to wonder if she's actually within the community given these cards, because she lives in close to the mountains, and we got 2 mountain cards that came out. Okay, and there's 180 cards in that deck. There's 180 cards in that deck, and we got 2 of the mountain cards that came out. Okay, is she in that neighborhood? Is she in the same neighborhood? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. Is she in the same neighborhood? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. It's going to go to no. Okay. It's not the same neighborhood, but it might be the one the mountain's just up. Is it just up the hill? Because because she's in flatlands. But we said, there's a report that says, I think we just watched it, that it's right beside the mountains. Is she in a home just up in the hills in the mountains? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. Is she in a home just up the hill in the mountains from her home? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. Okay, so that's a yes. Is my name Bob? No. Is Nancy Guthrie being held? So it was starting to go to no, and I'm trying to move it too fast. So I'll just start again. Is Nancy Guthrie being held in a home just up the hill on the mountain right close to beside her neighborhood? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. I'm going to go back to Google Maps if that's the case. Yes. Is my name Bob? It's a big yes. Okay, so that's a big yes. Are they gonna? I really think this person's a. It could be that when somebody posted about Epstein, it could be something like that. Like they might have a beef against Savannah, because this is like, I don't know. This is, to me, this is technology and digital. But I'm gonna get clarifiers on this. What I asked for, we got the mountain card. So let's get some clarifiers on the AI and the conspiracy theory, and then we're gonna move on to more videos. Maybe what I'll do is I'll pin the location if I can. Potential. Potential. I think they saw potential in this, this potentially could get them money, this conspiracy. I really think this is the person, the kidnapper's mindset is very conspiracy theory oriented. Is AI technological? Let me pull out the tarot because that's the fastest way to confirm. This is AI technology that they're going to get some sort of camera. This one flipped over real fast. 3 of Wands. Yeah, it's going to expand their area. It's going to expand their search. The ring cameras are going to expand their search. Okay. Okay. Oh, I think they knew her schedule. That habit routine came up, right? That habit routine came up. I think they knew her schedule. I do. Okay, let's watch some videos, and then I'll pull more cards. We'll pull more cards after this. This is the presser. We're going to watch all this with some detail here.
I'm going through some talking points with the family. I want to make sure I cover them. I'm not somebody who does well with the script. My local media knows that. We'll get started. I believe it was around noon yesterday. We got a call to the Guthrie residence that Nancy Guthrie, 84 years old, was missing. We expended a lot of resources for a missing person that we typically always do. Our search and rescue volunteers, our search and rescue teams, other agencies, Borstar from Border Patrol sent their canines out. They worked tirelessly all day yesterday and all day tonight. I'm sorry, all day yesterday and all last night. To no avail. As I said yesterday, we saw some things at the home that were concerning to us. We believe now, after we processed that crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime, and we're asking the community's help. This community has always stepped up to help us solve some pretty tough crimes. I'm looking for that again. This is a 84-year-old lady who suffers from some physical ailments, has some physical challenges, is in need of medication that if she doesn't have in 24 hours, it could be fatal. So we make a plea to anyone who knows anything about this, who has seen something, heard something, to contact us. Call 911. We don't need another bad tragic ending. We need some help. Our team is the best. I couldn't speak any higher. I think you know that. We have done some great work with our partners in the Valley. You know, this community, I have to give a lot of thanks to our law enforcement agencies all across this Valley, whether it's the Tucson Police Department or some of the smaller agencies. They've all reached out. They've all offered to assist. The FBI, all of them. We work so close with them, and they are all plugged in. We'll continue to work closely with them. But what I really need is I need this community to step up and start giving us some calls. Let us know if you've seen something. We are right now at a time, and I apologize, everybody tells me I talk too softly. We are at a time where, in this investigation, we're now moving forward, where we need to depend on technology. You know, our license plate readers, our camera systems throughout the community, anything, everything. And we will download all that data we have from the home, from different pieces of technology we've gotten, and we will use that to our advantage. But the reason I bring this up is that, you know, I'm a cop. I hate politics, but I have to remind our political leaders that they need to quit this banter of every time law enforcement leaders come to you for a need, that you give up these ridiculous remarks about how it's going to be misused. AI is a bad, evil word. The cameras are very bad and evil. I'm tired of that. Those tools in the right hand.
Okay, we just pulled the AI card, and what's he talking about AI? What's his reference to AI? I just pulled the AI card. What nonsense? I'm really curious. Why is he talking about the AI nonsense?
It's going to be misused. AI is a bad, evil word. The cameras are very bad and evil. I'm tired of that. Those tools in the right hands with the right minds and the right approaches are extremely valuable to solving crimes just like this.
I wonder if that's what it is. The AI card. Are they going to use AI to solve this case? I wonder what that card is about. Because it came out with I said technology, right? And he's referencing it along with technology.
We need more staffing. We need a lot of things. But what I really need is I need the community's help with this. So
I know.
I want to make
Sure
oh,
I forgot to pull the pendulum.
Any questions
About that.
It is a crime scene. We know that. She needs her daily medication.
I forgot to do the pendulum. I'll do the pendulum after this, as she's still alive. Yeah, well, these tools are needed. Absolutely. This poor lady. God, I can't even imagine. Can't even imagine what she if she's alive, and the family's going through right now. And, you know, Suzanne Guthrie has covered true crime too. Like, she's a lawyer, she's a legal analyst. So not true crime per se. Like, I don't think she's a true crimer like, you know, Ashley Banfield or anything, but seriously, sad, scary.
And anybody that sees anything that even looks, hey, maybe that's her, just take a quick picture, take a video, send it to us. The number is real easy here locally. It's 911. You can contact our 88 crime and remain anonymous. You can call me, anybody. I am here to take any questions you may have. It will be a little limited. I apologize for that, but we do have a crime that we need to protect its integrity. I have here Sergeant David Stivers from our homicide team. He has been up all night, so bear with us if we are a little bit fuzzy in our answers and responses, but we're both here for any questions you may have. Let's start,
Chair,
please.
recognizing your limitations, but can you elaborate at all on what makes you believe it's a crime scene as opposed to someone who left home and just couldn't find their way back?
Well, I think I told you she is very limited in her mobility, right? We know she didn't just walk out of there. That we know. There are other things at the scene that indicate there was she did not leave on her own. We know that.
If you're not at plate readers, is there a vehicle associated with this?
When I told you we're now at this phase where we're looking at all the technology, all of that is being evaluated as we speak. Let me say this: we've not just thrown our search and rescue team out there. They are going to be doing some door-to-door with our criminal investigation team. It is not just our homicide unit, all of our criminal investigation detectives. I went out last night to the scene. There were probably 100 cars out there, all from the sheriff's department, all working this case. It takes a lot of manpower and a lot of energy. This team of mine worked throughout the night. They continue to work. David's had zero sleep, but he and his team are working as hard as they can.
Is there anybody else associated with her, a caregiver, family member, acquaintance, who is also missing in somebody?
No. The family, all of the family has been very cooperative with us. They're working with us. They're staying in touch with us. They have complete access to anybody in this department. Savannah has been in touch with us as well. Our hearts go out to them. This is their mom. She's just a great lady, from what I've heard, and I feel for the family. We just want to find her and bring her back safe.
Sheriff, you mentioned that she didn't just walk out, but is there any additional information that you can give us on what may have alluded to this being a crime scene?
I wish I could. I really do. I know that everybody wants to know certain things, but I can't do that it would be inappropriate at this time.
Are there signs of breaking and entering or any forced entry, anything like that?
I again don't want to get into that. David, can you see anything here?
At this time, it's still a very active investigation. There were circumstances on scene that we believe are suspicious in nature, I think is the best way to put it. But we can't really get into a whole lot of details with that.
Do you believe that this was targeted or?
Yeah, I'm going to cover that update in a minute, Anne, but I didn't hear the confirmed break-in part of it.
They just happened to hit Savannah Guthrie's mom, or if this was just random?
We don't know that. We look at all of that, but we just don't know that.
Do they have cameras at the home?
They do, and we're looking through some of that.
With this being an active crime scene, is there any threat to the general public?
Well, I mean, okay, if they have cameras in the home, they're looking through it. That's the first thing they would have been at, immediately. So it doesn't take since Monday morning or Sunday morning rather, until, this presser was, it was a day or so ago, right? Let me just get the time of this presser. Sorry. It was 23 hours ago, but still. I can't imagine that they don't know who is behind this if there's cameras inside the house.
Trying to figure out my phone. Well, no, I don't think there's an active threat, but I hate to say that because, we're going to canvass that neighborhood and maybe there's a prowler been seen around. There's a lot of work still to do. We don't have any indication that that the public is in danger.
And what does that search look like today beyond what you've already told us about last night?
So we have shut down our search and rescue mission, and we've sent them home to rest. They were out all night. look, we put all our air assets into this, our drone systems, our aircraft, our helicopters, heat sensors, infrared, everything we've had, we've thrown at this. They're going to step aside. We'll call them out again if we need to do more searching. But right now, we don't see this as a search mission as much as we do a crime scene.
Sheriff, can you tell us a little bit about that map?
So sad. We don't consider this a search team as much as a crime scene. Nah, exactly. This is it. She was targeted. Whether this was just an all-out beef, maybe there was an altercation that ended up in an accidental death, in which case, why would they remove her body? To me, just logically feels like they wanted to use her to either access her money, or if that was the case, then why not take her wallet to maybe as a ransom? Like, it doesn't, otherwise it's just bizarro. Like that I mean, if it was just a strict burglary, why didn't they leave her there? I that's the weird part, right? That's just the very curious part.
That is, and David probably can better answer it than I, but that is our search patterns, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So with all the assets that we deployed yesterday with the search and rescue teams, the map that's on the screen is basically tracks that were followed. Those are all, the colored lines are all ground tracks of different teams and different assets that were used on the ground, to include the canines, the volunteers, and our own search and rescue team. The circles are going to be representative, if not necessarily perfect, of our air circulation with both our helicopter and our fixed wing aircraft at night, working with the night time cameras. So
Okay, let me stop to answer this question, because you've asked one earlier to you, Gutterbug. I think they're absolutely getting caught. I think all of them are getting caught, and I think it's imminent. So I think one of them better turn her in or call ASAP before she loses her life, because if she's still alive, which I'll pull the pendulum now since I stopped, if she loses her life because she doesn't have her meds, that's murder, and you're all going to go down for murder. So I would suggest, or they're all going to go down for murder, that I would suggest that somebody there, because I do get potentially more than one person, makes that phone call. Makes the phone call so that we're not looking at a murder charge. So let's just see. Is Nancy Guthrie still alive? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. Is Nancy Guthrie still alive? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. Oh, thank God. That's a yes. Is my name Bob? Is Nancy Guthrie still alive? Let me just keep it. Let me start it over, because I don't like to, because it takes so friggin' long to go in a circle, and then it goes wonky and my hand gets like, so I usually stop it too early. But is my name Bob? There. That's your no. That's a circle. Is Nancy Guthrie still alive? Yes or no? See, as soon as I start to think it, it just changes. So, but you notice how it's not swinging super high. Is Nancy Guthrie still alive? Okay. You know, I'm just wondering this now. I think the person knew her intimately. I think the person knew the meds that she would need. And I don't think any of the family members would know. And I'm just telling you right now, an intuitive hit that I'm getting, whether I'm right or wrong or not, but that the person would have known intimately her medication was required. But I also don't think the family would know how many pills should be left in her bottle. I think the police need to pay attention to that detail, because I'm just getting a hit that maybe because this person wouldn't intend on killing her or harming her. I also picked up yesterday this person has a need for money, and that this person wouldn't intend to kill her or harm her. Could they have taken few pills out of the bottle so that the family thinks she's not got meds? I'm just telling you, I've just got that hit. And I think if I were the police, I would be counting how many meds are left in the bottle versus the time her prescription was picked up and renewed at the pharmacy, and see if there's like 5 or 10 pills gone that are missing. Because I really feel like that person is playing their cards a little bit, but you know what I mean? I don't know. That's just what I'm getting right now. Let's finish this. And then we're going to go to some more videos.
It's difficult to see where the house is. The house is basically pretty close to center in that, and then all of the searching that went on throughout the day with those folks out there on the ground.
What this really helps with is our search teams, when they come back and reassess, maybe they've missed an area, we can look at it and say, hey, you know what, this area could use a little more coverage, and so they concentrate again. Our search and rescue team is top notch. They're out every single day. If it's not a lost person, it's a hiker, it's somebody who's wandered away from a care home, whatever it may be. I want to stress to you, right, and it is really important.
He said caregiver. They friggin' know this person knows her intimately. I really think so. I really think so. A gardener. The other thing I want to pick up that it could be, because yesterday I got a female and I also intuitively was just like, I wonder if it's the wife of a male worker. That's kind of why I'm getting more than one. Like the wife of a male worker, or is it a female? Because I feel like there's more than one.
This Guthrie, Nancy Guthrie, is of great sound mind. This is not a dementia related. She is as sharp as a tack. The family wants everybody to know this isn't somebody who just wandered off. Hey,
Donna, I said earlier, Donna's going to shoot me. I never, I'm done giving you notice because no, I know I didn't do well, no notification. Oh, still? Oh, that's weird. Sorry, honey. No worries. No worries. I'm all over the place. So we're here again doing a live. Just best thing for everybody is have the notifications clicked on and hopefully you get it. Sorry, Donna. We're going to go 2 p.m. Eastern with Melody Buzzer. We're going live at 2 p.m. Eastern for anybody just coming in today. 2 p.m. Eastern with Melody Buzzer. There's a video there. I doubt any of you have seen that. I want you to watch. We're going to start Gus Lamont updates hopefully tomorrow. I will be doing another Jack and Lily update later this week. Stay tuned for that as well, live. And 2 p.m. Eastern, Teppy and Melody Buzzard updates.
Her physical limits are based on just age and, we get old. And so it's more physical, but clearly she is as sharp as a tack.
Do you have her cell phone, and does that present any tracking potential?
We're looking at that as we speak.
But do you have it or do you not?
We do have it.
Can you give us a little
It's not good.
Timeline? Because you said she didn't leave on her own. She was last seen at 9:45. She wasn't reported missing until noon. But
Thank
I
you.
believe what happened there was at 9:45 in the evening, her children left her off. At some time earlier that morning, they got a call from somebody at the church who said, hey, your mom's not here. The family went to the house. I'm thinking they spent some time looking for her themselves before they called us. So I'm guessing maybe they got there around 11. So they did some searching and realized we need some help, and they called 911.
Do you have any idea what time Nancy would have been taken from the home?
There's a lot of things working there, and I just can't say that right now.
Has Savannah Guthrie, has she had any threats to herself at all?
We've spoken to her. We'll continue to work with that. She has a security team that's been in touch with us throughout the night. But we're not going to dismiss any angles for sure. But right now, immediately, we don't know of anything like that.
Is she in town or on the way here?
She's here.
Can you give us any more? What should somebody be looking for? Because when I was out in the neighborhood, the neighbors are obviously incredibly concerned. But is there anything, a tip? I mean, one neighbor stopped me and he didn't know if he should call you or not. So
Oh my goodness.
So what should somebody be looking for?
Well, first of all, I'd ask them, go through their cameras. Go through.
Don't not call, just call. He's saying any tip, call.
Their Ring cameras, whatever cameras they may have. Don't dismiss it that, oh, well, we really can't see the house. They still might see something. Maybe it's somebody walking by. Maybe it's a vehicle driving by at that time of day. But go through all your cameras in that neighborhood and tell us if you see something. Maybe somebody already, we know this happens, right? Oh, I saw something suspicious, but I didn't think it was worth calling in, so I didn't call it in. Well, now it's call in anything you've seen or heard. Maybe it's a neighbor telling you, I saw this or I heard that. Call us. Don't tell the neighbor to call us. Tell the neighbor to call us, but you call us as well. We'll put it together. Trust me, I'm sure we're going to get inundated with a lot of calls. We'll handle that.
Did she live alone?
I believe, yes, she did. Yeah.
Well, that is so much more refreshing than hearing the police criticize the public, you know, in other cases on the phone. Thanks for the warm welcome. Hey, sorry, sweetie. Yeah, deafening silence. Welcome in. It's so much nicer to have a sheriff that recognizes that they need the public's help.
Were there any caregivers who are normally associated with her?
Well,
Yes.
she has house staff that comes by, takes care of the yard, whatever, in her house and that. But those people we'll be talking with and have talked to some of them already.
But nobody's like a live-in or anything.
Nobody actually lives with her. No. Like I say, she's of great sound mind and she is mobile. It's just, it's a challenge for her to get, as the family says, she couldn't walk 50 yards by herself.
So she must have had a cane or a walker or a wheelchair or something also left behind, right? Which is, I mean, this is just scary as shit, which also means that this person did not plan on taking her, think about that, for an extended period of time. Because otherwise, we just did a pendulum pull before you came in, Donna. She's still alive. That's what I got intuitively as well. Well, why not ransom? I think my intuitive hit yesterday was that the ransom would come delayed, which we'll listen to a video shortly, which some suggested. I don't even actually remember, to be honest. We may not hear it. I don't remember because I've listened to so many and then changed them all because when new crime videos come out, you got to update. It suggested that they might be waiting for the family to know or learn that she would be imminently in danger before they made that call. But it's starting to look like something else may have happened. If that doesn't come in today, I would suggest, or, that phone call for if there is a ransom demand being, hashed out in the background, that person, maybe there is and they're not telling us, but, if that's really not happening, as he's saying, then, did they intend on that? And she accidentally died, natural disaster, like, the cards said earlier. I really don't know, but we're going to watch some more videos. I'll pull a few more cards as we watch. Yeah.
I'm sorry. We, like I said, we work closely with all of our partners, whether they're FBI, ATF, ICE, whoever. We know that they have certain capabilities and certain resources, just as we have certain capabilities and resources. So yes, we'll continue to work with them, and they've offered assistance to us. We accept that assistance, and we offer assistance. Just last week, the FBI called us to handle a shooting that involved Border Patrol. You need to know that. That's just day-to-day routine work for the law enforcement in Pima County in Tucson. We work very closely with our partners.
With the amount of time that's gone by, how wide do you cast in the net? Statewide, national?
Well, yes, national for sure. I'm hoping the national media's picked up on this. We've gotten a lot of reports, but statewide as well, with Amber Alerts, things like that. All of those things we use. Every tool we have, we will use. You guys are too easy. Thank you so much. I apologize.
Okay, let's go to the next update where we just learned, or it was just announced this morning. I got that clip Marie Curie. I don't know if that's a question that you want me to pull cards to. If you want me to pull cards to a question, then put a question mark ahead of it. But that's a very curious question. And I thought the same thing. Like, she had her own car, so maybe she was going to drive herself, but her car was left at home. In my opinion, why my mind is going to Savannah missing coverage on the Olympics. She was fixing to fly out. Don't know, people are greedy, evil people. Yeah, I know, right? She usually drove herself to church, says Donna. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
So right now, the search for Savannah Guthrie's missing mother growing more frantic. Guthrie's colleagues at NBC detailing some of the challenges law enforcement are facing.
Clearly, this wasn't a robbery, and this was somebody who was, they tried to abduct this person. They get them out of the house in the middle of the night, it appears. And so because of the neighborhood, it's not tightly packed. It's within Tucson, but we're not talking about house next to house next to house. So because of the vegetation, because of the terrain, because of the way the layout of the neighborhood, according to the sheriff's office, so far they have not had a lot of luck in getting video. We were talking about yesterday morning, hopefully a neighbor would have a video of a car leaving or somebody in the area. That hasn't been too fruitful so far. So that's proving to be a real challenge.
So meanwhile, law enforcement sources telling the LA Times there was blood found at the 84-year-old's home, which showed signs of a forced entry. Forensic criminologist Dr. Laura Petler joins us now. Dr. Petler, thanks so much for joining the program. I want to start there.
I love
about
this
the blood
woman.
found at the crime scene, showing that
This woman's one of my favorites. We just discovered her. I think Criminally Obsessed had her, and then it's the first time I've ever seen her with Ashley Banfield and whatnot. Now she's like everywhere. I love this woman. I don't know. She's so good. She's got her PhD in criminology, and runs like investigations for police and trains police and whatnot. She's very cool.
there was some type of struggle. As they processed the scene, what are detectives looking for?
So, good morning, Lawrence. Thank you for having me. Yes, this is a very serious case. And when they're processing the scene, they're going to be wanting to look at every single thing that is normal in the house compared to what would not be normal. So, obviously, blood and any kind of forced entry would not be normal. And the way that they're going to do this is by using victimology. They're going to learn everything that they can learn about Nancy Guthrie, and then they are going to compare it to what they're seeing in the scene. It's normal to process for fingerprints, for DNA, for trace evidence, for impression evidence. There's lots of different types of evidence that they can process for in the scene. And then,
Oh, there it is right there, Anne. Sorry, I just, because they didn't say it, but I did not read the banner, which is where you're getting here. It says, hang on, where to go?
Technology that we have today.
Blood
they
in
can
the
get,
home suggests sign of forced
they can get
entry.
information.
Blood in the home on the banner below suggests sign of forced entry. You'll see it when it's playing. And yeah, I mean, I hadn't thought about the political affiliations too. I'll interview Savannah Dunn in e-files. Yeah, Hope, it could be, honey. It could be. I'll pull a card on that too. After, but I want to watch a few more videos first.
About various types of evidence pretty quickly.
So, Dr. Petler, before they called the police, they thought that she was just missing. So the family went back to the home. They could have unintentionally contaminated the scene. What do investigators do in those type of situations?
Unfortunately, that is normal. You know, a family member that is frantically looking for a missing family member, the first thought is not usually, oh my goodness, my family member has been abducted. Then the first thought is maybe the person is injured or the person has fallen ill in the home, especially when you're dealing with elderly care. So the fact that they were in there and that they tried to locate her will be taken into account by investigators, and they can use samples to rule out
You can see the mountains in the background here. We just pulled the mountain, 2 cards with mountains. You can see the hills up here, not far from the home. This is her street address. So this is the start of the street towards the mountains.
And try to mitigate and limit the effect of any potential contamination that was unintentionally done by family members who were looking for her.
Dr. Petler, our technology has become so advanced, and when it comes to the video surveillance, we rely on that in a lot of investigations, especially with the new AI technology that can really track vehicle movement, when and where, how many times they cross a certain path. But investigators are saying, according to some reports, that it's been difficult to get video surveillance in that community because of the layout. What can they do to jump those hurdles?
So luckily, the FBI is tremendous in their digital evidence resources and their research. They have the best people in the world working there, and their resources trump any local resources. So the fact that the local the sheriff's office has brought in all of these other agencies is to a benefit this case. It's really going to make a huge difference because all the digital evidence is trackable. but there are limitations, as you mentioned, from the terrain, from the climate, from the mountains, the geography, and they can just do the very best that they can with what they have available and try to use other evidence to fill in some gaps. And a lot of times that's very common in these types of situations.
Of course, law enforcement are making the plea to the public. If you have any information, to make sure you use those tip lines, the FBI, as well as the local sheriff's tip line as well. Very crucial in cases like this. Dr. Petler, thanks so much for joining the program.
Okay, let's go to the next video. I'll pull questions in a little bit, but I do want... Ay. There's an interview with the sheriff here, and then we're going to go to some longer videos that are very interesting. The sheriff, in one of his interviews, is almost crying. He looks quite devastated. The pressure he must be feeling is probably quite enormous, given the magnitude of, the publicity here.
Investigation into the missing mother of today's.
Hang on. Am I sharing? Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Show host Savannah Guthrie is Pima County, Arizona Sheriff Chris Nano. Sheriff, good to have you here. You are now treating this as a crime scene. What makes you believe that this was a crime?
Well, there's a number of things there that I can't get into it all, but I would tell you that first and foremost, Miss Guthrie is she is sharp as a tack, has her wits about her. She didn't just wander off. At 84, though, she does still suffer some physical ailments that restrict her ability to move and get around. The family tells us, if she could walk 50 yards on her own, that would be something, and they just don't believe it. And when we got this call, I was advised we get so many of these calls every day here in Tucson, where people are in the mountains hiking, or maybe they walked away from a care home. And I don't, I've got such a great team of search and rescue volunteers and search and rescue team members. They just go do their work. But this one stood out just because what I was being told about the home she disappeared from. And I just felt like we're going to do our search and rescue mission. We're going to find her. But I also felt like we need to get our homicide, our criminal investigation team involved early on, because I just didn't like what I was hearing. So
what was it about that home that ignited that instinct? Was it in disarray? Were there signs of forced entry?
I can't get into that, and I apologize to everybody. I know everybody wants to know so much.
It's okay. No, we don't.
I have to protect this case, but I will say that I've been doing this 50 years, and my team would tell you my gut instinct sometimes I'm just wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but there's some concerns there that says typically we wait for a body to be found, and then our homicide team goes out to that body and starts their investigation. This isn't that case, and I just felt like we need them to get started early on. Let's see what we can do to get this case going, and hopefully the best happens when we do find her somewhere safe and sound. But we just can't ignore what's in front of us.
Right. And Sheriff, I would never ask you to say anything that would jeopardize the investigation, but you're saying you saw something in the home that made you think that there was possibly a homicide here.
Yeah, it's what I was being told.
Okay. Something in the home that this is possibly a homicide, that perhaps, maybe she's already deceased. Could be the garbage bag that I picked up.
My investigators and the search and rescue team, our officers in the field went out there, and they briefed us on some things that were really concerning to us.
There are reports out there right now that she was abducted as she slept. Did you find evidence of that?
What I would tell you is that we know she did not leave that home on her own, and that it was against her will. She didn't walk
it was
away.
Against her will?
Yes, we believe
Positive.
that to be the case. But again, what I see there makes me believe that. Yes, ma'am.
You've also said that she was harmed as she was taken from the house. How so?
Well, we don't know that she was harmed. We believe that there's evidence at the scene that suggests we're gathering some DNA samples to get those to our crime lab to get some rapid results and see what that leads to. But yes, it's evident to us that she was moved from that house against her will.
You know, the question, obviously, Sheriff, is why would somebody take an 84-year-old woman in the middle of her night, in the middle of the night, against her will? Have you gotten any ransom demands, any communication of any kind from somebody who might have an axe to grind against Nancy Guthrie or even her daughter?
We have not. Those are scenarios that were presented to us. First of all, we've worked with the Guthrie family. They are, as you would know, they're just devastated by this, and they're doing everything they can to help us come to some good resolution here. But we're working with different law enforcement agencies across the country, to include the FBI and our own state highway patrol teams who in their labs, here locally, 10 different agencies, all the chiefs. That's just how we do law enforcement in Southern Arizona. Everybody pitches in, and for her to Savannah's security team, we've spoken with them, and we're talking with Savannah and looking into any potential threats or any of that, and we're just not. That's not getting us there. We don't. Right now, nothing indicates that to be the case.
Yeah, sadly, threats are a common phenomenon for many journalists at the network level. I know I had them and have had them. Many of my colleagues have had them. I imagine the FBI is looking into those to see if somebody meant to harm Savannah's mother as something like that.
Yeah, you know, we have a lot of information thanks to the media, and exactly what we asked them to do is put this out, and we're getting a lot of leads and a lot of information to chase down and track down and hopefully get us somewhere. But no, so far there's nothing to indicate any kind of ransom, kidnapping, anything of that nature. You asked the very question that my team is asking: why take this woman from her home?
Right.
Yeah.
We hope we'll find those answers through our investigative efforts in downloading some electronics and some digital cameras, whatever we can do, whether it's analytical work on cell phones, cameras, license plate readers, all of that is being done. It just takes some time. It's never fast enough.
Sheriff Kristanos, thank you for taking time out of what I know has been a very stressful day for everybody down there, working very hard to find Nancy Guthrie. We sure hope you get a break soon and that the news is good. Thank you.
I don't know, you know, everybody's of the opinion, it seems the same opinion that, well, and the sheriff, obviously, he knows, is of the opinion that, you know, time is running out. Welcome in, Linda. Did they take her cash, leaving the cards? Makes sense. Yeah, it could be. I haven't done that yet. You wonder who's in the will. I don't think it has. You think, Donna? I don't think it has anything to do with that. You think? My baby's army, DEA, welcome in. What stands to gain? I picked up yesterday that somebody wanted money. That's why I'm really surprised. We have not seen a request for a ransom yet. Okay, let's watch this last short clip, and then we're going to get into 2 longer videos. If you're just coming in, we're doing a live later today for Melody Buzzard, an update, and Teppy at 2 p.m. Eastern. Let's just watch this really quickly.
It's been nearly 48 hours. I mean, all of us can imagine, God forbid, your mother went missing for this amount of time. Heavy heart for today's show host, Savannah Guthrie. Her 84-year-old mother, Nancy, now believed to have been abducted from her home in Tucson, Arizona. She was supposed to show up at church. She didn't. They traced her to the night before at about 9:30, and they couldn't find her after that. So they're thinking somewhere in the middle of the night. They've pretty much dismissed the idea that she wandered off. She doesn't have dementia or anything like that. And they're just lost, and the sheriff is all over it, and they're looking at it now, and they say between the home and what they understand, they think that this was a crime. Let's bring in criminologist Casey Jordan. We get why, but let's tell the audience why the sheriff would be cagey about, well, I'm not going to go into why I think it, you know, but we're testing DNA, and what I saw made me shift from that she had done something to make herself kind of absent to something else. Why are they cagey?
Nobody wants to go to the worst case scenario from the outset, but I would argue that they're being cagey with a lot of holdbacks. There's so much more they know that we don't know, because they are afraid that she was abducted. In fact, that is the going theory right now, Chris, by somebody who has not yet, but might be looking for a ransom or reward. Now, just in the last few hours, Chris, I understand that they confirmed that no ransom note or demand has been received, but that doesn't mean that they are not going with a theory that she was kidnapped for profit. Perhaps something went terribly wrong. Perhaps they will never get a ransom note if things went terribly wrong. They don't want to say these things out loud. This is pure speculation, but they have ruled out all the obvious things that we were all hoping for and thinking, that she just wandered away and maybe had a medical emergency, maybe an ambulance took her away. They have ruled out all the kind of, benign explanations for where she could be. And I think they're now going to worst case scenario.
So what do we know about what the timing is usually of a ransom note in situations of this kind of abduction? And how do you triangulate whether or not this has anything to do with Savannah being a big shot on TV?
Well, I think that that's the number one reason we do think that this could absolutely be foul play and profit driven. I mean, Savannah, I met Savannah more than 30 years ago when she was a reporter on Court TV and we were all working there. I just saw her a few months ago when I was on the Today Show covering, the latest crime. But the bottom line is Savannah is a household name. She is not just a public figure. She's incredibly popular and we would presume relatively wealthy. That said, this is somebody who would want to keep this quiet and be very highly motivated, theoretically, if a ransom demand was presented, to just getting her mother back, no matter what it costs. And that is always the decision of the family, not the FBI. They will advise against it, but the family.
Oh. Which one of his questions, honey? I'm wondering because the family delayed calling the cops, was there a ransom letter that they haven't told the police? Was there a ransom letter that they didn't tell the police? Well, heck. They just had on the news in Mr. North County about predators. NP said that they will not tolerate abuse of any kind. Said if that's the case, they need to hold Chris and Katie accountable for the facts. Oh, we're talking Sebastian? If that's Sebastian, we're not talking. Is that what you're talking about, honey? I'm not sure. If that's Sebastian related, we're going to stick to this case at the moment, honey, but you can email me.
Decides whether they want to pay a ransom or not. I mean, that said, there are no rules with kidnappings. It all depends on the sophistication of the kidnappers. If they are spontaneous, impulsive, not well planned, it usually comes to a head very quickly. But if they are sophisticated, I mean, they might wait quite a while to present a ransom demand, quite simply because the more tension they can put in the family, the more likely they are to get paid. There is a huge X factor with abductions. And that just means there's so much that can go wrong that you could even get a ransom demand when there is no one to recover. So I don't even want to go there. I really want to believe that there is some benign, good explanation for where she disappeared to. But now that the police are confirming that they do believe this to be an abduction and her home to be a crime scene, I think that it is time for us to think in terms of who would want to harm someone and, is it related to Savannah's public profile?
I hope they get her back. And I appreciate your insight and we'll stay on it. Thank you very much, Casey Jordan. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone.
Okay, let's get to the one I've been looking for, but it's the only one that's not popping up. Okay, hang on. I got this long list, and of course, this is the one I'm trying to find. No, I think I might have copied the same link twice by mistake. And if I did, that's okay. I will just pull up. Yeah, it did. Damn. Damn. Yeah, so I was starting to type in well, if I don't understand your text, can you please send me an email, honey? Because I would like to keep this on topic. And maybe one of the mods can pop my email address in there for her. Let's watch, Brian. And also, there's 46 of you in right now in the chat, and only 19 or 20 have liked. Could you please do me a solid and do a girl a favor? It's free to you. Just like, thumbs up. It really helps my channel out a lot. I would appreciate it. Okay, let's watch this.
Right now, on my way to the airport to go to Arizona to cover this just really, really awful story of Savannah Guthrie's mom. Her name is Nancy Guthrie, missing right now. The 84-year-old woman basically vanished out of her home near Tucson, Arizona, and the circumstances do not sound good. And I'm going to have Maureen O'Connell, retired FBI agent who I have on the show a lot. She's going to join me in a couple of minutes in this episode to break down what she thinks may be going on here behind the scenes. But again, the information that the sheriff's office is releasing and all the reporting right now is that Savannah Guthrie's mom didn't just vanish on her own. So this is the latest. Officials in Arizona, they say they're investigating what they're calling a crime scene in the search for Savannah Guthrie's mom, Nancy Guthrie. Again, she's 84 years old. The Pima County Sheriff, his name is Chris Nanos. He said that there are signs inside Nancy's home that she did not leave on her own. And the Daily Mail is now reporting that her stuff was left behind at the house: keys, ID, purse, phone, everything. That is what an insider is reporting to the Daily Mail. Which is one of the reasons apparently that police and also that Savannah Guthrie are so concerned about her mom. But the sheriff said it several times during the press conference that happened today that they do in fact have a crime scene, that this is less about an active search for her and more about a crime that happened. And he said several times that he needs the community to step up, start giving information and calls.
Wow, that's not good.
He was pushed about why it's a crime scene and would not give details, obviously, because it's all very, very active right now. But he said that Nancy Guthrie has limited mobility, that there were other things that indicated that she did not leave on her own. She was last seen in her home. It's in the Catalina foothills, part of Arizona, again, outside Tucson, Saturday night, 9:45 p.m. local time. A family member reported her missing then on Sunday morning. According to the sheriff, apparently she was supposed to show up to church and didn't show up. They became concerned, contacted family started searching for her, and then realized something was not right, that this was serious. And then they contacted the sheriff's office. She has, Nancy Guthrie has physical ailments, but no cognitive issues. I know a lot of people, when you think of someone in their 80s that goes missing, you immediately think of like dementia, that kind of thing, people wandering off. Apparently, Nancy Guthrie has no cognitive issues. So that is not a possibility in this situation, but she does have physical ailments. And the sheriff said if she doesn't get her medicine within the next 24 hours, that it could be life-threatening, which is another reason this is so serious. They had search teams using drones and dogs, but again, he said that he called back those teams to let them rest because at this time they believe that that this is criminal. And he said the homicide team is involved, and that Savannah Guthrie has been in touch with the sheriff's office. Obviously, Nancy Guthrie stands 5 feet 5 inches. She weighs 150 pounds. Brown hair and blue eyes. It's unknown what she was wearing when she was missing. And Savannah Guthrie did release.
I don't think they said she, just to be clear here, I understand the question, Stuart. Welcome in, by the way. I don't think they are saying that she can't be on her own, but I'm of the mindset with you. Like if she can't walk more than 50 meters on her own or 50 feet on her own, should she have been living alone? She wanted to be independent. But I don't think they said she couldn't live on her own, just that she needed help to come in to do stuff, whatever that was. I don't know. But it is a curious question in general about elders wanting to live on their own. And why no security alarm system, Interesting. Because, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. The area we were reading, if you're just coming in now, is wealthy, and somebody says that lives there, who was in the chat earlier, I don't know if you're still here, that the community is safe, wealthy, and somebody else's text I read earlier in the lives, living in the community, says that it's a gated community, and it's generally safe. It sounds like people in there may have lived there a long time. I'm guessing it's quiet and people have been accustomed to its safety and maybe are not prepared like they should be for this kind of crime, and maybe that will change after this in that community.
It's a statement that said, on behalf of our family, I want to thank everyone for the thoughts, prayers, and messages of support. Right now, our focus remains on the safe return of our dear Nancy.
Thank you.
Again, I'm going to talk to Maureen O'Connell in a second to get her
Okay.
feeling on what is going on here. But first, I just want to play for you. I went through the full press conference with the sheriff, which was about 20 minutes, and just
Sorry,
the highlights, I thought, where it was clear.
I usually listen to these ahead of time because when I'm doing the live, you guys don't understand all the back noise. Like I have to, there's a lot of work. So definitely off. Yeah. So I miss some of the things that are being said, which is why I listen to them ahead of time, but that I don't catch every single thing, nor do I retain every single thing. So thank you for recapping and reminding me that, of that statement Brian made. I don't know if he's extrapolating here because I didn't hear locals say she needed to live with care, but it makes us wonder if she should have had live-in care.
That there's something suspicious going on here and that the sheriff knows it. I want to play you this and then we'll get Maureen on the other side. And when I get to the airport, I'm going to talk to Maureen and I'll add it into this episode. And then I'm going to fly to Phoenix tonight, drive to Tucson, and I'll start covering the story late tonight and keep you guys posted.
As I said yesterday, we saw some things at the home that were
I'm going to
concerning
skip
us.
through this part
We
because we've heard it already. I'm going to get just to the part where he brings in our favorite, one of our favorite. I've got a few of these. I think the Tepe murders brought these three women out, the two we've just seen, and this woman, I love her too. So let's listen in.
Maureen, this story, I mean, I'm
Maureen,
at the airport, I'm on my way there.
Sorry, Maureen's an
I'm joined now by Maureen O'Connell,
There.
retired FBI agent. It's nice to see you, Maureen. This story, I mean, I'm at the airport, I'm on my way there. What do you, I don't know what to make of it. I mean, at first I thought,
Hey, absolutely, Stuart. If you feel like coming up and chatting, I'd love that. That would be awesome. Yeah, trying to get the facts. It is difficult to understand. Absolutely. And what do you think? Tell us what you think. I volunteer with the Find Me group, who is actually run out of Arizona by Kelly Snyder, who is a former Secret Service agent and has run the Find Me group for 20 years in his retirement now. I volunteer with them. What are you willing to share what you think, what your first intuitive insights are? Do you think she's still alive? Do you think this was ransom that went bad? Because the taking of her, like having her leave the property is just seems really like a one-off, to me, but I'm not an expert. It just seems interesting, to say the least.
okay, older lady, I live in Florida. There's always these alerts where older people go missing and then they're found. But this woman has the silver alerts. Yeah, you see them on the highway. But this lady has no cognitive issues, totally with it. And they're saying that it's a crime scene at her house.
Yeah, and they're probably saying that because maybe they found something as simple as a coffee mug broken on the kitchen floor and spilled and it wasn't cleaned up, or they hadn't seen her since 9:30 the night before.
Okay, so we now know as of this morning, I just want to make sure I'm very clear with everybody. This interview was done yesterday. We've just learned from Fox News, we've just listened to this morning, that there was blood in the house, that they're waiting for the DNA's results for that to come back. That was Fox News we just listened to. So this is a little bit behind that, so just bear that in mind. But she's also a retired FBI agent who runs security detail and is incredibly knowledgeable, and love to hear her take here.
Or maybe a glass of wine or something spilled, but it is just so sad. Like you said, this is tragic. Whenever anything happens to such a vulnerable member of our community, it just really kicks everyone in the community, but also everyone in the law enforcement community into really, really high gear, because it's just so sad. Excuse me.
Yeah, bless you. Daily Mail is reporting that they found her purse and cell phone and wallet and things like that in the house, which is one of the reasons that they're so alarmed.
Yeah, they found her purse, but did they find her wallet? Could she still go into a bank? They could have shown up at her door and said, "Your daughter has been kidnapped." I'm sure you guys have heard, but I know that I keep a close eye on this kind of stuff, where they say your family member, your grandson has been kidnapped, and you hear someone screaming in the background, and people say, "Well, how did they not know that wasn't their loved one?" Because most of us don't hear our loved ones scream and shriek. That's why. So, if they did that to her, and then they, with their intent to take her to a bank to get out $40,000 or something along those lines, and she had a medical emergency on the way there, who knows what could have happened. But the fact that there's not a ransom call at this point, with this amount of time going by, this is what's really breaking everyone's hearts.
Yeah,
And it's so unfortunate.
and the sheriff said that they had all these search teams out, and then he said, "Oh, we're letting the search teams rest right now, and we're focusing on this more as a crime."
Thank you for your input. Stuart, hey, if you feel like coming up and chatting off camera, we can hide your face. You're more than welcome. I, for more than one reason, am leaning towards her not being alive. The struggle evidence in the home, the medication that she doesn't have that are vital to sustain her life. Just those two alone. It's sad. Thank you for your input as a retired detective. That's sad to hear. I no offense. I'm sure you're amazing at what you do, or you were. I hope you're wrong, though. No offense, but I hope you're wrong. Although, with your experience, you're probably more than likely right. And as Maureen is saying here too, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good if this was originally an attempted abduction, that something went wrong, that now she's no longer alive to call in for ransom if something like that happened, because it just seems weird that they would remove the body if they just went there to seek revenge and kill her off. It's just weird.
He said something like that, which kind of stood out to me.
It did stand out to me, and it wasn't as eloquently put as most
Yeah.
would like. My thought there goes back to what I said a little while ago, which is that there hasn't been a ransom note. There hasn't been a call for a ransom. There's been no communication with anyone asking for something, because the big question here, Brian, is why? Why was she removed from the house? There's only a short list of reasons why an 84-year-old woman who lives by herself is removed from her house. And nothing on that list is good, unfortunately.
Could it have anything to do with her daughter being famous, being known?
It could, and yes, and the reason I say that is because, being a security expert, when my clients are hiring someone to come in the home, even if it's the most wonderful person, and I've interviewed some of these people that they're hiring to bring into the home as a caregiver or anything. But let's talk about caregiver, house cleaner, gardener, who knows who else. Let's say there's 4 or 5 people tangentially connected to this or directly connected to this missing person. I always recommend doing a background check on all of them, but also the people that live in their home with them, because I've seen far too often, having spent my whole adult career executing search warrants in people's houses, where I'm like, wow, they have 2 family members that are healthcare providers? That's weird, because I'm looking at violent felons. I worked gangs, narcotics, and high-level stuff, and it was always shocking to me with the people that live in their homes with them. And then when we go to interview them, they're very nice, and they're as forthcoming as they can be, I guess, without telling on their family member. But it just shocks me to the point that it's always my recommendation. I actually had this conversation with a client yesterday, because they're worried about this one person, and this person is married to someone and has a couple of adult children. And from what they told me, I said, we need to do a background check on all these people, because we have to look at that, what we call reverse.
Yeah, so the police sheriff did say that they are already and have already looked into and spoken with everybody that was coming and going into the home. Have they gone to the extended family of each of those workers, ex-wives, daughters, siblings, right? Like, I don't really know. This is what Maureen's suggesting that they should do. I don't know.
Threat vector, or what's the threat vector behind each individual that you have connected to this property? Because as you can imagine, most people just get their house cleaner or their gardener just by word of mouth from someone else. Janet says he's great. Janet says she's great. Boom, you're hired. And that's not a way to do it, especially, you have to tell me when you get there, Brian, but that block looks pretty remote, doesn't it? From the coverage?
From the aerials, and it looks, I think it's $1 million house. It looks like a kind of a big house on a big.
So Brian Etten, because we skipped through the beginning of this, he's traveling there, so he's going to be on site. So we're going to listen, probably another video. Someone knew the date. Yeah, they will. He'll be there live, so we'll listen to more. So after this video, I got one more, and then I'll see you at 2 p.m. Eastern. Time is it? It's 12:30. For Teppy and Melody Buzzard. There's a video there on Melody that I'm sure you all have not seen. It's an hour and a half on the location of where she was found. So we're going to watch that too. Stuart, thank you for your comments. If you're just coming in, Stuart's a retired detective. I know the authorities are looking into any and all of the social media with her. Also, any threats to her daughter and other family members, but we can't rule out that being totally random. Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, but yeah, could be. I get the feeling it's a caregiver, somebody that had access to the residence.
Piece of property
But
too, not like
I could be wrong. I just don't. I know the houses are somewhat isolated, but I cannot believe that they wouldn't have heard screams if this was somebody that she didn't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You're the detective, retired detective. But it's weird that nobody heard anything because we looked at it at the very beginning of this live. I went into her residence and it's desert. So yeah, there's some trees, but it's not like thick trees. Like we're not talking Jack and Lily Sullivan in Nova Scotia. And it's, trees in the desert. So it's pretty flat. There's houses that are not that far apart from each other. They're not even an acre lot. So in my opinion, they might be an acre, maybe an acre, but they're not far apart, really that far that I don't know.
kind of neighborhood where everybody's kind of crammed in
Right.
together, which the sheriff was saying they're looking
No.
for video. And he alluded to the fact that she may have cameras at her house. I just got the sense like he knows something he's not saying.
He does know something he's not saying. And it could be, when the kids were first looking for her, they missed something. But when law enforcement got in there, they saw it. And it could have been a very strong, a very good indicator that she's in really big trouble here. Now, they can't tell us what it is, and they shouldn't tell us what it is because that information is known only to the offender. So if you put it out there, you'll have all these false confessions. You'll have guys in jail saying, my cellmate said he did it, and this is what he said he used. And if it's true, it's just going to chew.
Well, Stuart, that's really the interesting thing. The sheriff, and I think we heard it earlier, said, yeah, well, if you stay, feel free to stay. Obviously, and if not, if you want to see us at 2 p.m. for Tepi and Melody Buzzard updates. The sheriff said that they had surveillance inside. So was the camera turned off? Because if they had surveillance inside the home, they should already know the person they're looking for, which is curious. Very curious.
Up a lot of manpower, and we're really down on manpower right now.
The sheriff also said something like that they've been in touch with Savannah Guthrie's security team, which, I mean, she is a big, she's a big deal. She's a Today Show anchor. That's kind of like next level. I mean, she's a celebrity in a sense, but I wonder what they would be talking about. I guess back to what you said, the possibility of threats. Yeah.
Yeah. They're asking her what her threats got. They're asking her team, what's her threatscape look like? How many threats does she receive? What do they look like? Have you run these things to ground? And they do. They run them to ground. They try to find out who they are, how serious.
Okay, just for curiosity, I'll pop this back in a second, but I wanted to just Savannah Guthrie's net worth is $40 million. Although she worked for various newsrooms and even as a lawyer throughout her career, most of her net worth has likely come from her 7-figure today salary, and she's well worth it. So she's rumored to be worth $40 million. So that's not small change. But again, no, unless the family has a ransom note, they haven't disclosed.
Serious they are, because when you're doing threat assessments, you're not only trying to figure out who the person is, you're trying to figure out, do they have the ability, the capability, the wherewithal, and the everything you need to carry this crime out. So they are looking pretty deeply into all that. And if memory serves me correctly, Savannah does have a young family, so there are other people that could be at risk also. So if she has young children, they're looking at the school and everything. They'll have a really good idea if this has anything to do with her. But imagine just being, let's say, a healthcare, or her mother, by all accounts, is a very nice person. So I'm not blaming anyone on her that works at her house. I'm just saying, imagine the house cleaner or the caregiver or the person that does the yard. They're having small talk all the time, and it could range from anything, the caregiver, one of the caregivers can say, I took her shopping and she spent $1,200, and the caregiver relays that information to her family when she gets home. The people sitting around the table are just like, damn, that's a lot of money to throw around in one afternoon. I wonder what else she's got going on. This isn't a new concept. in law enforcement. So it's something I'm sure they're quadrupling down on and have been since the very beginning.
If it was some kind of ransom thing, which popped into my mind, like someone that's going to try to get money out of Savannah Guthrie,
right?
Wouldn't they have already made that call? And is it possible it is, and they're just not telling us?
I don't believe that there's been a ransom call. I think that's why the sheriff is so, frightened about what the outcome of this is going to be. If there was going to be a ransom call, the time to do it is pretty quickly. You know, strike while the iron's hot. My guess is if that was the plan, that unfortunately Mrs. Guthrie had a medical emergency or something that just sidelined the whole plan.
Stuart, what do you think of that theory as a retired law detective, that this might have originally been the plan? I feel like she's right, but again, that's just my spidey sense, that this might have been the original plan that went sideways, or they're going to any moment now. Or is it possible that the family, because the family was there for quite some time doing their own investigation reportedly before calling the police, is it possible that the family got a ransom note and they're not sharing that? Maybe even the other family members wouldn't know that. I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out there, but it seems to me like Maureen might be right, that this might have been an intended kidnapping for ransom that went sour. You don't think the law enforcement, I doubt they would let us know either, Hope. I mean, I would really doubt they would let us know. Is there a PI working simultaneously? Not that I'm aware of. I don't think so yet, but I do know that they called the FBI in, and they are concerned about the relative proximity to the border there too, right?
So someone may have taken her, not intending to hurt her, but just intending to get some money or something. And then just because of her age, you think something could have gone wrong.
I mean, if she has a heart attack under those conditions, they're all on the hook for murder. I mean, the driver of the car, whoever's with them, whoever was a part of this conspiracy, if there is more than one person, which there very well could be, let's say there's 3 people involved, they're all going down for murder and conspiracy. And conspiracy charges hold a pretty hefty tag for prison time. And
Would the FBI be involved at this point?
If the sheriff's department asks for help, and sometimes they'll just ask for help, like for the phone analysis or the DNA analysis.
Again, this might have been before their update, but the sheriff has already said the FBI are involved.
But other than that, this isn't, I don't see the sheriff's office asking the Bureau for help on this kidnapping, because they do a lot of them, but the Bureau does kidnappings like nobody. I mean, we do a fantastic job with kidnappings. They may ask for help with the evidence response team to go and do grid searches or other type of physical searches in these areas. I love the fact that they said they use the FLIR, which is the forward infrared, where you can see heat signatures above a certain temperature. So that's great that they use the FLIR at night, because you can clearly see if you're looking down at a whole team of searchers, and also you can see if people are moving or marching, or something is laying still, or if it's a deer or whatever. FLIR has come so far that you can cover a lot of ground and do a lot of really great work with that. So maybe they've exhausted the search area for where she could have been based on her ability to maneuver, and now they realize she has to have gone in a car. They may already have the car. They may already know the license plate, and who knows? Maybe they went to a place where they know. There's only a few reasons to go out there. Maybe disposal of a person or something. Which
I know. I hope that there's some kind of positive outcome here. Again, I just think back to in Florida, there's just so many older people that like not go on the run, but you know what I mean? They end up on the highway or whatever, and then they're out of gas. But most of them have like dementia.
Right.
So
I was racking my brain too today, ever since I heard about this, Brian, and I'm thinking, please, Lord, what was a good outcome in a situation like this? And all the good outcomes are, like you said, they involve dementia, and then you have a really good police dog that finds her. So the police dog, pardon me, the police dog, what they generally do is they'll take a number of her items and they'll put them in a garbage bag or a container, and they let it kind of percolate a little bit, and then they let the dog sniff that good and hard, and then, or they can just run the dog around the bedroom or whatever, and then they let the dog go. And sometimes, and I've worked cases like this before, where the scent stops right at the road, So it's apparent at that point that that person likely got into a vehicle, and maybe it just stopped at the end of the driveway.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if the person got into a car. Anything else you think they're doing behind the scenes that they're not telling us?
They're working really hard. The sheriff made it sound like they're ceasing some efforts, but I don't believe that for a minute. I think that may be something they're trying to telegraph to the offender to let them relax a little bit, but there is no way they're not hitting this thing hard. Because when it comes to children and old people and babies, I mean, there is nothing that gets our blood boiling more than that, and rightfully so.
I just wanted to read you this again. I pulled it up, the Daily Mail reporting where they're saying that an insider told them her stuff was left behind at the house: keys, ID, purse, phone, everything. It's not a situation where she voluntarily went away because she didn't take any of the things you would normally take if you voluntarily went out. So, do you think
Okay.
that's what the police are talking about, or do you think there's something more?
That narrows the list down even further, because that sounds like a kidnap for ransom. And when you don't get a call for the ransom, maybe they just saw how big it got. The only way that this is going to end well, in my opinion, is if the offenders were really scared off because they thought, whoa, we had no idea how big this was going to be. But that doesn't make much sense either, because in a situation like this, they almost had to know who she was.
Okay, we're gonna watch one last video. Stuart, yeah, if there was any delay notifying authorities, well, apparently there was after she was discovered missing with blood evidence in the home. Also concerning that they should look hard at the family members. Yeah, so just Googling Savannah Guthrie's siblings here. Everybody's, we're not accusing anybody. We're just curiously looking here. That Savannah Guthrie is the youngest of 3 siblings with 1 older brother and 1 older sister. Anne Guthrie older, she is a published author of books such as The Good Dark. Savannah has described their relationship as being like the sun and the moon. Well, that's interesting. So polar opposites. Charles Cameron Can Guthrie, older brother, he is retired military. Y'all, military came up yesterday. You remember? Military came up yesterday. That's very interesting. Retired military pilot who served 26 years. He was a colonel in the Vermont Air National Guard, known by the call Arlo, and flew F-16s until his retirement in 2016. The siblings grew up together in Tucson, Arizona, and shared a deep bond that was notably strengthened after the sudden death of their father when Savannah was in high school. As of February 26th, the siblings are involved in the urgent search for their 84-year-old missing Nancy Guthrie, who was reported missing from her home in Tucson on January 31st. Anne Guthrie was reportedly the last person to see her before the suspended abduction. That was Saturday night. Reported missing when she didn't show up to church Sunday. And the parents, what is the motive? Yeah, good question. Either revenge, it seems like money to me. It seems like money to me. So either money or revenge, but I'm going to lean on money. We're going to watch our last video here because I have a 2 o'clock live that we want to watch. It's another panel of detectives, retired detectives, active detectives. Let's watch.
Those are the haunting words from a press conference earlier this morning in Tucson from Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos regarding Savannah Guthrie's mother.
Welcome to the global phenomenon, Surviving the Survivor. Here's your host, Emmy Award-winning journalist, Joel Waldman.
What's up, SDS Nation? Welcome to the global phenomenon that is Surviving the Survivor, bringing you the very best guest in all of true crime. Tonight's story hits close to home for the COE and our team and myself. The COE, the chief of everything, my wife, our executive producer, Steve Cohen, we all work at one point. We all worked in traditional media, and I happened to meet the COE working in Tucson, Arizona.
Yes, absolutely. I'll put the banner back up at the bottom that all commentary here is opinions and opinions alone. Everybody is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. We are just talking hypotheticals and just trying to learn more about the family. Nobody is accusing anybody of anything at this point in time until there should be an arrest, and still that person is strictly innocent until proven guilty and a suspect.
At the ABC affiliate KGUN 9 News, which is the epicenter of this story that we are covering tonight. And now we are covering Tucson yet again, this time under very different circumstances. We're talking about the disappearance of Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie, and her disappearance now officially being treated as a criminal case, saying that the home is now being investigated as a crime scene. So what has changed from last night to today? We're going to dig into this. Here to help us break it down, one of the best panels that you could assemble, Phil Ramos, retired detective, Las Vegas homicide, 3-time officer of the year. Phil also worked infiltrating the Cuban mob in Las Vegas as an undercover narcotics officer. Next up, David Sarney, retired NYPD detective, covered everything from homicides to missing persons. He teaches at John Jay College of Criminal Justice. And last but certainly not least, coming in right now, Phil Waters, F-I-L Waters. He's investigated over 400 homicides for the Houston PD, and I appreciate all of you being here. Phil Waters, most important question, are you aligned correctly? This appears to be your correct placement.
I believe I am. All is right with the universe. Everything is aligned as it should be.
Okay. For those who don't know, Phil has OCD like myself. He likes to be in a certain position on the screen, and he is in that screen. Let me just give you guys a little background, and then we're going to get right into the details of this. But Nancy Guthrie, she is Savannah Guthrie's mother. Some people said, what is the Today Show? Who is Savannah Guthrie? Because we are a global phenomenon, not just an American show. The Today Show,
Kitty, nice to see you,
historically, is
honey.
the biggest morning television show in America. Used to be hosted by a woman named Katie Couric. And now it is Savannah Guthrie. And this is Savannah Guthrie's mother, who went missing under mysterious circumstances. Her name is Nancy Guthrie, 84 years old. Phil Waters, what we know is she was last seen Saturday night around 9:30. She goes to church
We missed you. I'm so happy to see you, Kitty. I hope you're feeling better, honey.
every Sunday morning. And this is an 84-year-old.
I'm not going to stop too many times, y'all, because I got to get to the 2 p.m. live where we're going to do updates on Melody Buzzard. We're going to talk Jack and Lily later in the day, or the week rather. Also, apparently, there's some Sebastian Rogers updates, which I'll get to. Thank you to Gypsy. And later today, we're doing Teppy and Melody Buzzard updates. So at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Woman who is set in her routine. She goes to church every Sunday. She did not show up in church. Family and friends both got nervous. They called police. There was a wellness check. And once police got there, they started to look around and saw something that they are now describing as a crime scene. This doesn't portend much good in terms of what happened to Nancy Guthrie, but your take up to this point.
Well, it's good to be back with you. Phil, good to see you again, brother. Did you ever check up on that Ferrari 40 I sent you?
Looked into it. Still in the works.
Yeah, and Phil, by the way, I know you don't. David is a retired NYPD detective, and
Oh, sorry, they're
go right ahead, Phil.
they're all
Good being with you,
retired.
Pleasure. Well, you know, this is
Sorry, I thought one of them was still working, but they're all retired.
kind of a it's one of these classic welfare checks that turns into something. And the obvious thing here is the officers got there, did not find her, but found something that sent them in a direction that this is a crime scene. So what is that going to be? It may be signs of a struggle in the house, maybe signs of forced entry into the house. There may be signs of blood. There may be other indications inside the house that show that she did not leave the property willingly.
Phil Ramos, Phil Waters just said it. Signs of struggle, signs she did not leave willingly. What is important to note is the sheriff here, and I've got the press conference from today, and there might be one happening this afternoon. I just don't know. It's 2 hours earlier in Tucson, so 3:19 Eastern. So we'll keep tabs on that. If there is a news conference, we'll try to bring it to you live. But Phil Waters mentioned Phil Ramos, signs of struggle, obviously not leaving on her own recognizance. The sheriff Chris Nanos made it very clear that this is a woman of sound mind, no dementia, no Alzheimer's. However, she is on medication and he made kind of an ominous warning saying that it's the sort of medication that if she doesn't take within a 24-hour cycle could potentially be fatal. I don't know what that is. Obviously, there are HIPAA laws, but your sense, I texted this to you last night because I knew you'd be up on the West Coast, and you and I were both kind of talking about it overnight. It definitely took a turn for the worse.
Yeah, the thing that is so disturbing about this one is the victimology, the profile of the victim. I mean, we have senior citizens go missing quite often, and it's usually 9 times out of 10 dementia related or some sort of health issue. But she's of sound mind. She's very aware of what she's doing, and she's got some physical ailments apparently that have caused some concern. I read in one account that she's not able to walk more than 50 feet, I think it is. So that leaves us with why her? Why did this happen to this 84-year-old senior who apparently lives by herself? I haven't heard anything different, but there's a lot of question marks, a lot of red flags on this one, and hopefully they're making some good progress. And I say that because of the sudden change in the description that now it's a crime scene, and apparently they've stopped these search and rescue efforts. That's also a big sign right there. They must have an idea that looking for her is pointless at this point, which is really, really tragic news.
Yeah, and David Sarney, I mean, the elephant in the room here, the Pima County sheriffs, and obviously Tucson is within Pima County. And I'll get into the size of Tucson in a moment. Some people, including myself, before I went to work there, I thought it was this little podunk town in the west. It is a massive, massive area, something like a 250 square mile city. So there's a lot of ground to cover. But the elephant in the room is that this is not just any woman, and the Pima County Sheriff's Office can try to cast it that way. But this is the mother of, one of America's best known broadcast journalists. So what do you do if you're law enforcement here? There could be potentially something ominous going on here related to her daughter that no one is aware of, some sort of payback. The country's divided and divided largely across media lines, people on the left, people on the right. How does that complicate this case?
The thing is, when you talk about these cases, in what you call them special category missing at that point because of an elderly person with medication and no longer there. That should have been a crime. It's always a crime scene as soon as that, 'cause it was the last place we know she was at. They have a time frame she was last there, so when she was when they reported her. So you have at least time there. You make it in that status.
David, David, we got you breaking up quite a bit. Yeah, Dave, I'm sorry. You're breaking up again. I'm going to have you try to come back in with your phone. It's tough to hear you. I apologize.
Yeah, breaking up. Yeah, I just saw that.
You're back now, so go ahead. Well, you know what, Dave? I'm going to have you try to get in on your phone.
I love technology.
Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes David has an issue in those concrete walls in New York City. Phil Waters, I asked you this question too many times lately. Well, first of all, what's unusual about this, before they even announced that it was a crime scene and not a search and recovery, they mentioned that homicide detectives were on scene. What does that tell you, that homicide detectives were on scene that early in a case like this?
Well, that means those patrol officers that made that call saw something there that was alarming, that this was not just a missing person. This was not, a senile 84-year-old woman that wandered out of her door and is wandering around the area. So something sent them to make a call to homicide. They sent, I'm assuming they work in pairs, but they sent a pair out there to address the issue. So I think, I don't know what David was about to say, but you've already alluded to it. I mean, the first thing I'd be doing as a homicide detective would be looking at Samantha Guthrie's background. Has she been receiving any kind of threats? Does she have somebody that is obsessed with her? And they had contacted the mother to try to get to her and had been spurned, turned away at that point. And because there's a lot of, there's crazy people out there that do these kinds of things. So that would be the first take I would look, would be, how is this disappearance, a possible kidnapping, how is it related to any kind of threats or obsessive behavior that has been exhibited toward Savannah Guthrie?
Well said. And Phil Ramos, while I switch Sarney and Waters here so his OCD doesn't get the best of them. Let's see here.
There you go.
Phil Ramos. How do you go about doing that right now? I mean, let's say you're the lead investigator, and this could very well happen in a place like Vegas or Houston, where both Phil and Phil work. But you get on scene, you see something that the patrol officers don't like. They call you in. You're the lead homicide detective, and then you say, "Oh man, this is the anchor of the Today Show." How are you checking in a relatively expedient manner to see if she does have some sort of stalker, something in her past that resonates with homicide detectives, that maybe there's someone that wanted to do some harm either to Savannah directly or indirectly by getting to her mother.
Yeah, well, the first place you're going to start, like we always start these days, is with her digital footprint. I mean, they're going to go through every single aspect of every electronic device that she has. Is she on social media? Was anybody stalking her, through the internet? And the big question is there some connection with Savannah? I mean, we see that happen, but not to this extent. Usually, if there's some animus towards Savannah, they would target her directly more than her mom. So this has got an aspect to it that is very unusual. If that's the case, if it's some revenge type of thing. If it's not, if it was some random home invasion and they had no idea that she was related to a celebrity, then that they could have panicked and said, "Oh man, are we in the wrong house?" So whatever the responding patrol.
Tell me what you think below. Do you think this is a random, they didn't know who they were going in for? Or do you think they knew? Tell me what you think below, that this was Savannah Guthrie's mom, who's also reportedly very wealthy. Let's just see if we can Google Nancy Guthrie's net worth. Not publicly confirmed. Not publicly confirmed. Okay, let's keep going.
And the responding officer saw that caused them to call homicide right away is going to be of interest, because a trained officer is going to look at something and say, no, that's not right. Let's get the detectives out here and follow up on this. So and that came out right away. So something that they saw initially, didn't take long for them to say, get the detectives out here. This is not going to be a simple missing person.
Yeah. David, I hope you have us back here. Yeah. It's New York City and LA in terms, I think.
Okay, that's not good news. That's oppressor today. I don't know. I feel like you think it was random, honey? Okay. Thank you, Marie Curie. Okay, let me go check that presser. Presser's that would be 4:30, right? Arizona time. Is it Arizona time now is 11. So 2 hours behind. Okay. So 1:30. So at 3:30 Eastern, I'm doing at 2:30 Melody Buzzard. So we will cover random in the foothills. No way. Yeah, see, I don't think random either. We're going to cover the live here. It'll either be at the end of the Tepe Melody Buzzard. We're starting at 2. So you said 1:30 their time. So that's 3:30 Eastern. So I will be on at 2 p.m. Eastern, and I will either I expect that to run. Well, I'm going to end it. It would have been just over an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. So I will move to the presser at that time on that live. I think it's the daughter they are after. Not random. I'm feeling sunny boy, maybe. But again, allegedly, just let's
high
watch.
profile cases. So what about obviously the link with Savannah Guthrie here, and obviously she is in New York City. How do you manage that as you're trying to investigate this case? And then I'm going to get to the press conference from earlier today.
You have a lot of eyes in this case, and that's par for the course. Especially in New York City, we have high profile cases. Sadly, a lot of times the investigators aren't concerned about it. That's why you have supervisors and executive staff to kind of deal with the noise that's outside. You don't let that happen. You don't let the investigation get deterred because it's a person of celebrity status and it's a family member of celebrity status. You're still doing the case as it is. We've had high profile cases in the past. I've dealt with some, and that's never the issue. Is the victim. The issue right now is a missing person who is under obviously very out of the ordinary circumstances, and The noise will be taken care of itself. Let the media deal with what they're going to do. They're going to speculate. The investigators do what the investigators do from point A to point Z. That's what they're doing right now. And you're hoping for the best, but this is such an unusual case that, the question is, why was she taken? If you were going to create harm and do harm to an elderly person, why did you take her with you? That's something you have to look at. And that's, I think Phil brought it up, is any connections, any issues with family members that might have been threatened in the past, and was there forced entry? We don't know. They're not really.
I mean, to be very clear, this is just my gut feeling. It's just my opinion that I think that if it is a family, I'm leaning more towards son, but I don't think it's a family member, to be clear. I think this is a possible worker in the home that had access, and either their family members or they and their family
letting
members.
all information
That's my belief.
out right now.
Yeah, and David, you sound great, which is awesome. Her cane was there still, my guess, according to Cal Sterling. The minute I heard this story, and as I said off the top, both the COE and I worked in K-Gun. I was there for about 5 years, and I absolutely love it there. Just salt of the earth people. But I'll never forget, there was a case that I covered. It was an 88-year-old woman who needed either a wheelchair or a walker. I can't remember which, and she went missing, and she was apparently dragged out of the house. And very sadly, they found her, and I hope this is not how this ends, but they found her in a shallow grave, and it was just someone who was, I think, trying to rob her. It was just an unbelievable tragedy, and we were covering it. And
Oh, hang on a second.
The community was involved.
Hang on.
So an awful result in that.
It's 1:30 p.m. Eastern, our time, my time, Eastern. I just found the article on the presser. It's going to be at 11:30 Arizona time, at 1:30, which is in 20 minutes. So what I'm going to go do is I'm going to move the Melody Buzzard live. This is why Donna's like, can you just give me a plan? It's like, it is so hard in true crime when things are moving parts and there's constant updates. So sorry, I'm going to just show you that just so you know that this is officially the presser time. Which one is it? Yeah. Pima. Okay. Okay, so on February 3rd, which is today at 11:30 a.m. Arizona time, that's in 27 minutes, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos will provide an update on the Nancy Guthrie case. Stay here. We will follow it. We will follow it in 28 minutes. I'm going to go move. They said they found blood. Yeah, we covered that earlier, honey. So a stalker situation. The stalker would have been in contact personally or visually prior to the incident, so neighbors' testimony would be important. Interesting. Okay, so everybody stick around. We're going to have the presser on an update. I'm God willing it's not that they found her deceased in 26 minutes. Let me go move. I'm going to watch. We're going to listen to this, and I'm going to be in the behind the scenes fixing the 2 p.m. live. I will move that to 3 p.m. Sorry, everybody. That's the world of true crime. And if you're just coming to watch me on that, you're going to be upset. But this is true crime. Sorry. Got to go with the flow. Let's watch this.
And I'm hoping that's not the same situation here. But let's listen to this is Sheriff Chris Nanos of Pima County. He was not there when I was there, but he's a soft-spoken, humble guy, and he is the lead law enforcement officer in this county. Let's take a listen.
Liane, I stopped the wrong video. More time with Liane. I know. Yeah, except I just deleted the wrong video. Bear with me, everybody. Bear with me. There we go. That was easy. That was easy. Technology, you know.
Situation here, but let's listen to this is Sheriff Chris Nanos of Pima County. He was not there when I was there, but he's a soft-spoken, humble guy.
Absolutely, Stuart.
And he is the lead law enforcement officer in this county. Let's take a listen.
Well, I think I told you she is very limited in her mobility, right? We know she didn't just walk out of there. That we know. There are other things at the scene that indicate there was she did not leave on her own. We know that.
if you're talking about plate readers, is there a vehicle associated with this?
We're when I told you we're now at the phase where we're looking at all the technology, all of that is being evaluated as we speak. Let me say this: we've not just thrown our search and rescue team out there. They are going to be doing some door-to-door with our criminal investigation team. It is not just our homicide unit. All of our criminal investigation detectives. I went out last night to the scene. There were probably 100 cars out there, all from the sheriff's department, all working this case. It takes a lot of manpower and a lot of energy. This team of mine worked throughout the night. They continue to work. David's had zero sleep, but he and his team are working as hard as they can.
Is there anybody else associated with her, a caregiver, family member, acquaintance, who is also missing and somebody?
No. The family, all of the family has been very cooperative with us. They're working with us. They're staying in touch with us. They have complete access to anybody on this department. Savannah has been in touch with us as well. Our hearts go out to them.
This goes on for a little longer, so I'm going to break it into thirds. Phil Waters, it's interesting because at one point, just prior to this, he mentions that they're using these LPRs, these license plate readers, but then he kind of backs off of it here where he says, we're just using all the instruments available to us. The fact that he mentioned those license plate readers, does that tell you that they think, she's been abducted and she's in a vehicle somewhere? He also says it's not just search and rescue, and it's not just homicide. So how do you read the tea leaves here?
Well, I don't know what the size of this sheriff's department is, but something like this, I'm sure, is not a common occurrence. And they are marshaling all the resources they have to bring this to a conclusion. Of course, everybody is wanting it to conclude with her being found alive and well and taking care of her. I think maybe the LDR thing may have been a Freudian slip on his part.
You there, Phil?
The resource, then that would indicate to me that they've got some information that particular resource may bring a result. So I'm sure they're doing what any investigation has to do in something like this. He already talked about the detective there, alluded to canvassing the area there. They're going to have to go door to door, talk to anybody that was in the area at the time, and see if there was any kind of events, any vehicles, anything that was out of place in that neighborhood. So it's all part of a big picture. And when he's telling you that he's got 100 cars out there, he's got the entire investigative division. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means 50 people or 5 people, but I am sure they're getting some assistance, I would think, from the state police. They may, if they're looking at this as a kidnapping, then the FBI will be involved in this. And so they're putting together all these resources to try to find her as quickly as they can.
Yeah. Phil Ramos. So people don't realize, and I know you do because you live in Las Vegas, but again, Tucson, just the city of Tucson is something like 250 square miles. It's massive. I remember driving one time. We're driving for like an hour and a half, and it's not easy to get to a highway. So you just like drive through some streets. Someone asked where she lives. Nancy Guthrie lives in the foothills in a well-to-do neighborhood, which I'm pretty familiar with. But it is a massive city, and they're adjoining towns, connecting towns like Oro Valley and Green Valley that surround it. So it is a huge area, and you see Marta Fonda echoing what I'm saying here. Tucson's huge, super great relationships. Someone said that who's in that neighborhood, they just saw a helicopter over Picacho Peak which is north of where, kind of northwest of where she would have been found, but still quite a distance away. But
I also heard somebody last night living in the area said that there were helicopters overhead. There were military helicopters overhead in the same direction he's referring to. I'm just going to pull up the live here so we can have that ready to go. So stay tuned for the live presser in 20 minutes for Nancy Guthrie. Pray, everybody pray. She's found safely. That this is not bad news. Please.
In a place like this, Phil Ramos, that's desert-like Las Vegas, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. How do you do it? How do you even start?
Yeah, with everybody out there, you know, we here last week, Sheriff announced that we've started a drone unit here in Vegas, and they've already found 3 missing kids within 45 minutes of when they were reported missing by getting those drones up in the air and searching. So hopefully they've got that sort of technology. And there's so many military assets in that area of Arizona. The helicopter that they were referring to could just be a routine maneuvers, National Guard or Army or Air Force. But there's so many assets available in such a large area like that, that surely they've got everything they can. And you start with, you know, the canine search teams at the house where she was last known to be, and you know, to go to the old school way of looking, using a dog, and then you gradually advance to the new technology. If that means drones up in the air, you get drones up in the air, and mounted units. Since there's such a big desert area, there's just so much area to cover, and you just have to call everybody in. Man, they're going to cancel days off, and a lot of overtime is going to be spent on this as it progresses, and hopefully it's resolved quickly in a favorable way. But again, man, here we go. My senses are it's not going to end in a good way.
I can tell you too, that story that I mentioned when I was in Tucson, this probably goes back to 2009, 2008. This woman was dragged out of her house. She was disabled, either using a walker or wheelchair, and later found dead. I can tell you for certain that there were not 100 sheriff's deputies vehicles looking for her. And that's not to say that they don't need it or shouldn't have it for Nancy Guthrie, but I think it just speaking to the high profile nature of this crime. One other thing, David Sarney, Phil Waters mentioned, you know, the word ransom. I didn't even think of that, but obviously Savannah Guthrie makes a very comfortable 7-figure salary. There could be someone in Tucson who says, hey, this woman's daughter is incredibly wealthy. What if I take her and put her in a house? I mean, how realistic is something like that, like a kidnapping for ransom? It seems to be more of a movie thing than a reality thing, but your thoughts?
Well, if it's the typical burglary or break-in, you're not going to see, you know, when perpetrators do those break-ins, they usually do it during the day. If she's taken extracted from the home, there's got to be an ulterior motive. I mean, that's the weird thing, because if there was going to be a robbery or something like that, the violence would take place and the body would be there. It does leave question a lot of things. You cannot rule anything out, because we really don't have much. That's the problem. You have a home where the woman seems to be forced to be removed from the house, and now we have to figure out why and where did she go? Where is she? They don't know, and there's nothing. Her phone was left at the scene. Can they do that? This is back to the whole thing, backtracking on any issues or complaints against Savannah, any family members. You know, why did they do it at this time? And that's how I'm very big on, like, why now? Why at between 9:30 and more in the morning she was taken? Did someone come to the house? Did someone break into the house? We don't know. The sheriff has not been very forthcoming, and he shouldn't be, because you don't want to tell everybody everything. That's why I think the LPR thing, the license plate reader, I think he pulled back on it because he didn't want people to know what we're looking at. And that's right, because that's what investigators do. We don't tell you everything. And all we're doing right now is you're keeping it up to date about the investigation and overall. You're not going to tell any detailed information that we found blood at the scene, we found this at the scene. They're giving you very, very tertiary information right now. But I'll tell you, the amount of work to be put on this case, the special category, and the profile that it is, you're going to see all points to bear at this point. Well, that's why you have 100 cars there. That's why you're going to have the use of drones. You have federal partners. The FBI apparently wants to assist in this investigation. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on this too.
And I'm going to ask Scott Duffy, Phil Waters, partner in crime from the FBI, to come on tomorrow to talk to us about the FBI aspect, because they've already.
Thank you for your input. Stuart, if you're just coming in as a retired detective. Yeah, there are some cactuses. It's crazy. Stay with us. We're going to be live with a presser in 15 minutes. Hopefully it's good news, God willing.
Reached out to the FBI for help. Phil Waters, I'm going to play the rest of this in just a moment, but this is true. The clock is running on these medications. The sheriff himself said she can really only go 24 hours with whatever medication it is that she needs. Otherwise, it could have a fatal result. I mean, what can you possibly do in this race against the clock, Phil Waters? Phil was on either a long delay or he's not hearing me. But Phil Ramos, let me toss that to you. What do you do? I mean, there's a race against the clock, a literal race against the clock, but there's really, I mean, you have your hands tied, right, Phil Ramos?
Yeah, I mean, you realize why she needs this kind of medication, what medical condition she has that requires that constant flow of medication. And so that's another motive for you to try and get out there and find her. And right now they're just blasting her picture and all the information they can, media, social platforms, everything to get the word out. If you see this lady, please call the police. It may be that she just walked away and on her way out the door, she, knocked some things over. And that might be what the evidence of a crime could be. I doubt it, but that's always a possibility. So all you can do is blast her picture and the information as much as you can. And hopefully, if the bad guys are holding her and they realize two things. If she misses her medication and it results in serious bodily harm or death, that's a murder. So they're going to be responsible for her death, whether it was a hands-on death or not. They're still going to be responsible for it. It's going to be a felony murder committed during the commission of a felony. So somebody's got to be able to locate her and know that it's her and call 911 right away and say, we have her and this is the condition that she's in, and get some medical assistance to her if that's available. If that's available. The bad guys, we're kind of jumping a little bit ahead of ourselves, but if the bad guys have her for whatever reasons that we've discussed, I don't think the issue of medication is going to affect their decision on what they're going to do.
Phil Waters, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You couldn't hear me a second ago, but I'm glad you're back now. Authorities here are asking the public for help, and I was asking you, and Phil Ramos just answered it, about the clock ticking with her medication that she's supposed to have within 24 hours. But other than to do what Phil Ramos just said, which is blast out her picture and ask the public for help, is there anything else you can do to race against this clock, Phil Waters?
Well, I think it's interesting he's talking about the medication, the sheriff is, because my question there is, was there medication left at the scene? So, which would indicate, obviously, they didn't take it with them. And perhaps his talking about the medication, he's sending a message. He's not sending that message.
I hope it's supposed to be in 10 minutes. I'm waiting for it. I've got a bunch of links up to start. I don't see it yet. Do you see it starting yet? Oh, hang on. 44 minutes ago. No. Let me know if you see it live. I don't want to miss it, but yeah, okay. So you're not sure. Okay, you've been in and out then. Okay, got it.
Message to us. He's sending that message to whoever it was that snatched her up, to let them know, look, you're treading on some thin ice here. This lady has some medical issues that have to be addressed with this medication in a timely fashion. And you may have initiated this type of thing let's just say, for the sake of the discussion, that your intent is to ask for some ransom or something of that nature.
Hang on.
but you have not planned
Okay, we got
enough ahead to understand that.
these guys apparently are going to stream live. It hasn't started yet, but they're talking. So let's just go here so that we don't miss this presser. They are already chatting it up, waiting for them to go live.
Stewie has a stomach made of steel.
He's got an iron
Which could
stomach.
be.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
we wanted to chat, Dr. Klein, a little bit about what happens, and we have so many of our viewers at home who have pets. They love their pet. What happens when your pet eats something they shouldn't be eating?
Yeah, good question. Happens all the time.
I'm sure.
Yeah, all the time. I mean, I would say my best piece of advice would be give your vet a call. Let them know what your pet has gotten into, and they can advise you either way of what you need to do. Sometimes they're getting into something that isn't going to harm them, and you can watch and wait and monitor at home. And
Well, I thought they were going to talk about the case, like they normally do before a presser. Not pets. Let's go back to what we were watching. I was still looking out for the live.
There are some health issues involved here, and you're going to get yourself, and what Phil's talking about, if she dies in the middle of this in Texas, there's certainly a possibility they could file capital murder.
Well, whoever let me know it was happening, thank
At
you.
the very least, a felony murder.
Thank you to whoever put in the chat it was coming up. Thank you.
So, because then you have a question of intent, so forth. But the sheriff I think he's doing a good job in terms of being able to send a message to the kidnappers and send a message to the general public that this is how serious this is regarding her health issues. So I'm just hoping and praying this turns out well, but situations like this, at least in my experience, they tend to turn out badly.
And you're hearing that from two separate homicide detectives, Phil Ramos and Phil Waters, who have collectively investigated about 800 homicides and have been in homicide units for probably 30 years collectively, with more experience than anybody else collectively. I would put money on it. And then you've got David Sarney as well. Wasn't just David was not just a homicide detective, but has investigated homicide cases. Some people are guessing maybe it's type 1 diabetes. We don't know. We don't know the medication that she needed. But this is now Sheriff Chris Nanos of Pima County, an absolutely massive county that is home to Tucson. Let's continue to listen here. We'll get some more thoughts.
This is their mom. She's, just a great lady from what I've heard. And I feel for the family. We just want to find her and bring her back safe.
Sheriff, you mentioned that she didn't just walk out, but is there any additional information that you can give us on what may have alluded to this being a crime scene?
I wish I could. I really do. I know that everybody wants to know certain things, but I can't do that it would be inappropriate at this time.
Are there signs of breaking and entering or any forced entry?
I again don't want to get into that. David, can you see anything here? Do you?
At this time, it's still a very active investigation. There were circumstances on scene that we believe are suspicious in nature, I think is the best way to put it. But we can't really get into a whole lot of details with that.
I'm going to hold it there, and then there's about a little less than a third of it left. Icicle Aksu from Turkey just gave us a super chat, very generous. There's no digital footprint and no surveillance footage released, and we hear about the case 2 days after it's reported, even though the daughter is well known. What do we actually have in hand to make any assumptions? I'm having a hard time. I think everyone's having a hard time kind of trying to wrap their heads around it. The timeline is not completely clear. She was last heard from 9:30 on Saturday, and then she doesn't show up in church Sunday morning. David Sarney, I actually think that family and friends took action very quickly, because it was really the only other time you would, from Saturday at 9:30, when maybe Savannah said, "Hey, good night, Mom, I'll talk to you tomorrow," she doesn't show up at church, and they did the right thing. I mean, how could anyone have acted quicker than this?
Not really any faster. I think because if this is about routine. Her routine has always been church on Sundays. She didn't show up. So again, 84 years old, you know, well, somewhat healthy, but again, medication that we cannot determine what type of meds it is. But they went back, they did the wellness check. They saw that she wasn't there. They notified the police arrived. Again, we have to do a top to bottom search of the house to make sure she is not there. Now you have things that have determined that this is something that is out of the ordinary. That's why suspicious is always unusual, but out of the ordinary that she didn't go, she is not gone there. So how did she get to church? These are questions you're going to ask everyone that knows her. How did she get to church? You know, that's how they know she didn't show up, by not going to church. Is her vehicle there? We know her.
Okay, I'm still looking for the presser. It says right here that it's going to be streamed from this. Right here where I read it says watch the live in the player above when it begins at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, which is in 3 minutes. This is the repeat. Let's see if we can get, I'm just looking for lives, everybody, that are showing it, that are claiming to show it. If anybody can find it, let me know. I don't want to miss it. I have gone to Google as well. I don't know why these live pressers don't, like, you know, when you see that a live is coming up. There we go. Live hasn't started yet. I only asked GTP 5 times. Now I finally got the right link. Oh, Lord. Okay, so it hasn't started yet. But since it's starting in a minute, we're just going to plop ourselves here and just wait patiently. True now playing press conference from Pima County Sheriff's Office updating. Really? Can you send me the link, Donna, if you see someone else doing it live already? I just don't see any of these running yet. I hate when they give you website pages. I want YouTube links. Ideally, I still don't see it. Thanks, Donna. Oh. Where is this starting? I don't know which one's playing. There we are. Yeah, I'm trying to do this first and then I'll get to that.
It'll be done today.
I didn't get it, Donna. I'm having problems with my emails.
Temperatures, but wind is on the way. We'll tell you just how high those gusts will go. Tucson Today starts right now.
I didn't get it, Donna. My emails are getting lost.
This is Tucson Today.
I don't know. It's really,
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Robbie Reynolds. Time now is 6 o'clock, and we're going to take a look at your traffic and weather together with Storm Tech 4
What?
meteorologist D. Cortez, who is.
I'm not getting emails. You know, I'm trying to find a job. I had the president of a company email me this morning, and I could see it on my cell phone, but I could not see it in my phone. I can see your email in my cell phone, but somehow when it goes to get to my laptop, it's vanished. And that's what happened when I sent you an earlier message. So let's just see. It's beyond frustrating. There we are. Thank you. Jesus, Murphy. But that's where did that go? Oh, but that's Dolly. I don't want to follow Dolly, and I can't follow Dolly. So I can't use that one. I need to know where the actual press conference is. Got booted out of my own live stream. No, I don't have it, Donna. I'm not gonna do Facebook. It's annoying here, very annoying. Especially when they're all claiming to be running it. Here we go. Here we go. I found it on my own. I found it on my own. There's will, there's way. No, that's the
Me and Spike over here, we've been waiting for you. Okay.
wrong one. So 14 of you were too impatient and went elsewhere. Thanks to those of you that stuck around. I appreciate it. What do you think the update's going to say? Do you think it's going to be Liane? Aw, thank you, honey bunny. Thank you, Stuart, honey, sweetie. I appreciate it. I'm wondering, what do you think they're going to say? Oh, babies army, I love you. Yeah, there's 38 of you still here. We went from 50 to 38. That's okay. People are impatient. They don't want to miss anything. I get it. 43 of you back here. Please do the YouTube things. Thank you. For everybody to say is take a few deep breaths and say some prayers. I have a feeling this is not going to be good news. I'm here. Thank you, Marie, sweetie. Love you too. Thank you. Thank you, honey. I just don't feel good about this one. Oh, it's funny, eh, Stuart? I mean, you're the Lauren, I know, honey, eh? Stuart, you're obviously more experienced than I am as a retired detective, but I kind of feel like the opposite. No sense of, maybe that's what you're saying, no sense of urgency, like she's been discovered deceased. You know, no sense of urgency. Yeah, there's definitely if that's unless that's what you were saying. I'm just thinking it's not going to go well here. I don't have a good feeling. I don't have a good feeling, especially since they are late. Like this is not a rescue potentially anymore. Let's hope I'm wrong. Just don't have a good feeling. We're going to be live at 3 p.m. It's a different live stream for an Ability Buzzard update, as well as the Tepe family. It's a different stream. I moved it from 2 to 3 because of this presser, and I got to eat in between. Thank you to everybody who's here. Love you all. I appreciate you all. Thank you. No bueno. Thank you, honey. You guys are great. It's so competitive, eh? It's just a competitive industry in the true crime niche on YouTube. Especially since every channel is covering this case right now, right? Really and truly, if you think about it. Thank you, Lorna, honey. We love you. We love you for being so far away and watching. Thank you, honey. The longer we wait, the more it just becomes not a feeling of, and you know, unless it's that she's been found alive, but it doesn't feel like they're still looking for her. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that she's found alive, and I don't know, man.
No, not at all. This whole time, so I'm just gonna clip it on. And this is like, if I move, am I gonna do whatever? No. I just don't want to mess up your audio. No, that's okay. No, I apologize for that. Okay, I will not touch nothing. Okay. Thank you so much. Yes, go ahead.
Oh, this is brutal, eh? Anybody else feel kind of like anxious, waiting? Stomach. Oh, Lorna, you said it you typed it just as I said it, honey. Yeah, me too. I feel nervous. Like I just, praying for good news here. The sheriffs. Yeah. Sheriffs. Yeah, me too, honey. Oh gosh, I'm learning that one. Trust me. I'm waiting for my financial situation since my dad was defrauded of all his money to turn around for several years now. Trust me. Waiting is hard. Waiting is hard. I get it. Yeah, there is. Oh man. Yo, trust me, big impatience. I'm like a type A personality, right? So patience is not my forte. I'm learning it. I'm learning it. Oh gosh. Donna, I don't even need to say that out loud. You all know me. You all know me. Oh my God. Oh, jeez. I haven't seen anybody boost lately. I don't know if that's still available. I know it doesn't show in all lives, but if you also have the boost button, if you see it, I'd love you to use it. If you can. If you can find it in your heart to boost it, that'd be great. We're trying to grow the channel here. You're chuckling over there. Oh, I know. Well, you know me, sister. You know me. You know me. Yeah, I'm chuckling at myself too. Anyone familiar with the show, The First 48, that applies heavily in this case? No. No. Can I get it in Canada, Stuart? The First 48? I haven't been looking for hype, but haven't seen it. I have been looking for hype, but haven't seen it. I know. I guess I don't know if it was a beta test or how YouTube decides which channels to, like, it's not consistent. I haven't seen it once as a viewer. I love you too, girlfriend. I love you too. I haven't seen it once as a viewer. Like, and I watch a lot of true crime videos. It's on an A and an E. A&E on YouTube. It's on A&E on YouTube. The show. What show? Here we go, guys and gals. There's the sheriff.
Good morning. I don't know that everybody knows who's here. Of course, I'm Sheriff Chris Nanos. John Edwards is the Tucson chief here for the FBI, and he'll have some words for you as well. You know, this is really, for me, pretty new, all the media attention. So I apologize to you for sometimes I'm speaking in generalities, and I'm not used to everybody hanging on to my words.
Thank you.
Trying to hold me accountable for what I say, but I understand. So we're going to try our best to be succinct with you in the future, and also
in the
more important
future.
for you
So
to
not a major
understand is,
update.
we have a lot of work in front of us.
Uh-oh.
We have a
So
job
no
to do.
friggin' big
And
update.
we have someone's
God.
life who is in jeopardy, and so job number one
Ugh.
is we got to
Well-
find her, and we got to work hard to do that. I understand there's great attention on this, and rightfully so, and I appreciate it, and I thank you for it because it has generated a lot of leads for us. And so we're tracking those
Shit.
leads, and we're doing things with evidence.
I'm surprised.
you would
I'm
expect.
very surprised.
So having said that, we're going to set this up. I know that a number of you yesterday.
Yes, Donna, let me see.
Yesterday I was going from AM to all the way.
It's as loud as I can get it, honey.
Midnight, answering concerns and questions.
Let me go to my
and it's just
computer.
too tough. And it's not fair to the case. So what I'm going to tell you is today.
It's on
we're gonna
full.
do
Let me
this
see in the
similar to
back
what we're
end.
Doing right now. Here we'll take questions. It's not really my briefing. It's your briefing. You'll be able to ask us some questions. we'll probably shut you off after a while because I just can't be here all day. We have work to do. But we'll take some questions, and then in a couple of days, unless something breaks, we'll do this every couple of days. So, and we'll set up with you for
Oh,
CIO
shit.
teams to give you.
I was hoping for
anything that
some
comes up that
updates.
might change, but clearly they will notify you on these, what I call media briefings. So with that, I'm going to ask John to come up. If you've got a statement to say, John, and then we'll take some questions and we'll get back to work.
Hopefully this is better, Donna.
John Edwards. My spelling is JONEDWARDS. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge of the FBI's office here in Tucson. First, we want the community to know that the FBI is doing everything in our power to bring Nancy Guthrie home to her family.
Shit.
The FBI is working alongside the Pima County Sheriff's Department on this incident. In terms of what the FBI is doing, we are providing the following support. Primarily, it's analytical and technical support in the following ways. We're downloading and analyzing cell phones, obtaining cell tower information, conducting interviews, and providing any and all investigative support that the Sheriff's Department needs. We're looking at this from every angle, but we need your help. If you live in the area or saw something
I know.
on Saturday night, the 31st of January, or Sunday morning, the 1st of
More
February,
information, Lorna.
please report it to the Pima County Sheriff's Department or the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. Every lead and tip is important. We are aggressively pursuing and looking into every single one. Again, please help us bring Nancy Guthrie home. Thank you.
We'll take some questions.
Sheriff, is there any indication so far as to whether this was a random abduction or target?
I hate when they do
It's like
this.
we're looking at all the leads, and we don't.
I hate when they do a presser and give us nothing, a nothing burger. He's going to not answer the same questions, which begs the question, why? Like you said, I guess they got to keep it and they want to keep it alive and out there, and they want to plead to the public for more help, which makes me feel like they don't have the surveillance that they need, which is bizarro when they claim and have said that there was surveillance inside the home. Would no neighbor have surveillance here? Like, it just seems dumbfounding.
No, we're going to assume both sides of that. We'll look at both sides of that.
What Nancy Guthrie was wearing, or the type of car that she might have left on, or any identifiable information that the public.
It's okay, honey. We're going to do another live at 3 p.m. Eastern if you want to join that one.
I just no clue. It could have been one. It could have been more. I don't know. Let me get.
I mean, does that mean the person was disguised? I'm going to not stop. Because I got to eat and jump on 3 p.m. Eastern. We got a live going from Melody Bussard and Tepe. So let's just keep listening to this, and then we're going to end this off.
That Nancy Guthrie is still alive. We know the medication played a critical role here. It's been 48 hours. She needs it every single day. We're looking for someone that is still alive.
We hope we are. We hope we are.
Sheriff said earlier that you don't believe there's a wider threat to the public. If you're not sure if it's targeted, why do you believe there's no wider threat to the public?
Well, we have crime in Tucson all the time, right? Like any city. And so when you say a threat to the public, is there somebody out there who's kidnapping elderly people in the middle of the night every night? We've not heard that. We don't believe that's the case. We do believe that Nancy was taken from her home against her will, and that's where we're at.
Sheriff, when you reference violence at the site, can you elaborate on that? And also, was there a sign of forced entry, any valuables taken, any bank or ATM cards used after this event?
We're not getting into that. What I'd tell you is, like any crime scene, we process this crime scene. We gathered all the evidence we could, to include looking for what? Fingerprints, DNA, camera images, everything you can imagine. And we gathered that out. Those things have been submitted forward to labs, to technological companies to help us. And we're like you. We're waiting for those returns to come back.
Did you find DNA that did not belong in that house? The window of time from when she was last seen to when she was reported missing, and I know you guys are asking for help from the public, is there any way to narrow down what time you might be up? Like, I know there was a report about a pacemaker dinging like around 2 o'clock in the morning. Is there any way to indicate to people
Mm-mm.
1 a.m. or 2 a.m.?
Pacemaker.
I really don't want to get into narrowing down the time, because narrowing it down means we could miss some tips and leads. We're working on with the data we've submitted for investigative analysis. We're working to see if that time can be tightened up. But for now, we're going with what we told you earlier. She was dropped off at 9:30 and she was found to be missing at about 11 o'clock Sunday morning. Let me get this one. We've submitted all kinds of samples for DNA, and we've gotten some back, but nothing to indicate any suspects.
Anybody strange in the neighborhood? I know you're looking at video of different surveillance cameras. Anything that we should be looking out at different cars?
I have nothing in that regard.
Have any demands been made?
We have all kinds of investigative leads we're working on.
Oh, he didn't say no to that.
We noticed that the camera on the front of the house.
Mm-mm-mm.
Do you believe the perpetrator purposely took the camera?
Don't know that. We're looking into that as well. Yes, sir.
That seems like fully processed now. We saw deputies leave around 6 o'clock last night. We didn't see tapes go up. Amazon driver was able to walk right up to the door. Is that pretty standard for them to handle this?
The scene is done. We're done with the residents.
Yeah.
If we need to go back to get, maybe we want to do something with some other.
I was
piece
thinking
of
the same
evidence there,
thing,
we contact the
Marie.
family and let them know. But we've turned that over to the family. I don't have the time, but it was sometime yesterday, I believe.
How many tire tracks or any
No, ma'am.
footprints are on the house?
No.
Was there any kind of, will you please take us through the timeline that you've established of the events so far and
9:45, 9:30, 9:45, we were told she was left at her home by the family. At 11 o'clock in the morning, the family got notice from somebody at church that she was not at church. They went to the home, found her to be missing. That's the timeline.
Look him in,
From Saturday
Sandy.
night, 9:45, we'll say, to Sunday morning, 11 o'clock.
Have you been
Let me get somebody back here, please.
have you interviewed the people that reported her missing, the people from
That's the family. Oh, from the church as well. We're doing all kinds of interviews. Yes, I'm sure we have.
Have you been able to access the footage from the cameras at the house?
But that's all been submitted, and we're doing our best with those companies who own those cameras or built those cameras.
Are they plans to release those videos from the cameras from the surveillance? Are they plans to release the video from the cameras surveillance footage?
We don't even have them yet, so no, not at this time. This is an active investigation.
There's a report of a suspicious man a few doors down last week. Is that anything that you guys are aware of?
I'm not aware of it. My detectives may be. There's
A
a lot of
suspicious
investigation being
man,
done.
a few doors
I can't
down.
Get into those weeds or even discuss.
Did you hear that? I do. I'm also reminded of the Tepe case in this one where they knew so much more than they were saying. But somebody just said, is it true that there was a suspicious man hanging around? That's a reporter. Mm-mm-mm.
With you what they may not have learned. Yes, ma'am.
report from the board yesterday? Are there specific resources that maybe the board has not granted that would make a difference responding?
Well, that's getting into my own local politics. I apologize. Yes, the board a few weeks ago denied a request for more cameras, more drones, more AI capabilities with our own body worn cameras. All those things, you'd have to talk to the board. I'm not probably not the right time to go into this. Let me get somebody. Well, that's.
I want to repeat.
My own local politics. I apologize. Yes, the board a few weeks ago denied a request for more cameras, more drones, more AI capabilities with our own body worn cameras. All those things, you'd have to talk to the board.
Wow, the board's going to be in trouble.
Let me get
Whoa,
somebody else
whoa,
here.
whoa. What kind of a board denies safety updates? That's crazy.
Yes.
That's
Do we
crazy.
believe- We don't know where she is. So we're like any investigation, you start from the point of where we last saw her and we work out, and we're working as far out as we can go.
Sheriff, can you walk through, was there evidence of forced entry at the house, like any broken windows or whatever? Does it seem like people just went in and out?
There are concerns at the house that concerned us from the early on part of this investigation, and that's all I will tell you. Yes, ma'am.
I wonder, I'm guessing the person knew that was the outcome of the board, and they knew there wasn't surveillance in this area. I'm guessing that the person knew that.
Is there any history of with Nancy needing police at her place or concerns that she was worried about somebody following or?
our investigative team has looked into all of those things, and that has not been brought to my attention. So she may have had something like that, but I'm not aware of it.
What is the extent of collaboration with the federal government? Obviously, FBI is here, CBP, are there other agencies also involved?
CBP's role in this was in our search and rescue mission, where we constantly use them. They have great dogs. Our dogs aren't tracking dogs for this. Theirs are, and so they came out and did that. Anybody else though that we've asked for help from, whether it's the FBI, I know if we needed help from CBP or DEA or ATF, they would.
Yeah, it's definitely not cool. How would you feel?
From all
I'd
sorts of
be,
agencies, not just at the federal level, but across the.
I don't know, man. It feels like somebody with inside knowledge is involved here for sure.
State, every one of them saying, Sheriff, you need anything, we're here.
So you obviously said investigators, when they got on scene, they found suspicious circumstances. When the family called originally to report her missing, did they say anything about the state of the home?
I don't know that. I don't know. Let me hang on. Let me make sure I'm getting some different people here. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so there was blood that was found inside the house and you're testing it for DNA. How much blood and where was it?
I'm not saying there's blood inside that house or outside that house. What I'm saying is our team processed a scene like you would think of any crime scene. We go in and we process it. We look for things like that.
The community association.
Any kind of.
So it's a gated community. I read earlier at the beginning of the live. I suspect it's a gated community and it's a common place community where they would have had an association that voted against it, because I'm suspecting that the maintenance and whatnot might be part of it. But that's the only board that I would know. Dark, documented, heart conditions, etc. Doesn't like the question. Let me get someone else. Yeah, officials. So he's now refuting the blood. He also said that she was taken out of her bed, and then he went back and said, oh, I didn't mean that literally. That was figuratively. So I don't know if he's making errors and disclosing too much here. But yeah, it's interesting.
Any kind of physical evidence, fingerprints, anything, and all of that is gathered and submitted to a lab. That lab will report back to us what they find. So far, that what we found from that lab is nothing that would tell us this is who did this.
We'll take a couple more questions.
So if you're here earlier, Fox News reported blood found in the house, and he's not confirming that. So I don't know how factual that was.
The sheriff's got to go.
Sheriff, can you walk through the evidence that was found at the scene?
Potentially, Donna.
The surveillance footage. I know you said some of it is in the cloud, but you've also been reached out to tech companies that are saying they're cooperating.
Yeah, good question.
That's what I tell them. How come I don't have this? Where's my evidence? It is a process, and I'm sorry, but you know, we're grateful that there's large corporations.
Yeah, my baby's army. I wonder.
Backwards to help us.
Right? Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, that's very interesting. Now, got to be someone that had knowledge of that.
Say, hey, Sheriff, tell us.
I mean, the coincidence and the timing is.
Yeah, I can't slam them, and we've asked them. They know the urgency here, but I'm like you. What do you mean I don't know that now? Yeah, it's tough.
Follow up on the answer that you gave earlier. You were asked if there was you were asked if there was any ransom, and you didn't say no. You said we're following all leads. Does that mean a ransom has come in?
We're following all leads we have. That's all.
Yeah, he said at the beginning, eh?
Hundreds of leads, and it's from you that produce those leads by telling people we need help, and I'm grateful for that. But I'm not going to get into all that. We have a team designated to deal with all of our leads. They're looking into all of that. We are sharing all of our leads with the FBI.
Wendy,
in evaluating.
You know the story. What happened to my dad, right? What happened to my dad? The cleaning lady, who was my mom's cleaning lady and my dad's cleaning lady of 15 years, had the gated community code, the house alarm, and the key. And she facilitated with the helping my mom with the defrauding of my dad when he was left to die alone in Florida with dementia, right? And stole all his money. She helped. She facilitated. So gated communities, if you have somebody inside with inside knowledge.
Leads, how good they are, where that priority should be. And so we're just, look, I know you guys are doing your job and you're doing a great job, but we have a job to do too. And I really need to back away from this for a while, and we'll see you, unless something breaks, we'll see you Thursday morning. PIO will give you a time frame, I'm guessing somewhere around 11:30. But
That's it. Hey, thank you.
I need your emails. If you are not on the email list, get with me in the corner. I'll be right by the sheriff's side, okay?
Okay, so that was a nothing burger, really, other than a few small new details. Nothing that we didn't already know. Right? Nothing that we didn't already know. Oh my God. Oh no, so sorry, Liane. Did not know. Yeah, honey, you didn't know? Yeah, gated communities are not all equal. There are levels of security that vary. Absolutely, because my dad was left alone to die in Florida. When I got the call from the hospital, they'd already read him his last rites. Been trying to get justice for my dad. Sadly, I did bring him back home from Florida. He lived with me and passed away just this past June. It was a very hard Christmas for me. This happened during COVID with my dad. We got illegal court orders and whatnot to go down to Florida. I got so, you're right, Stuart. Knowing a lot about gated communities because my parents were in Florida for 25 years, their entire winters. My dad was a land developer and a lawyer, and he threw out his winter boots and socks from Ottawa, Canada here when he decided that he was going to go down and develop in Florida before his dementia. And so I've seen a lot of gated communities in Florida in the last 25 years. And some have security guards. Some don't. My dad's did not have a security guard, just a gated code. So it really depends. And I think, if you have inside information on how to get to the gate and the code. I also, if you don't know the story of when I drove down, I've told people before, I was writing a book on it and I just didn't want to dishonor my dad. So I changed topics, but tried to get justice for my dad in Canada. But because there was 3 lawyers and a judge involved, which could be up to $600 million they took from my dad, the Ottawa police are not interested in investigating because they think there's too many gray loopholes that they got through that to make it a prosecutable case would be about 1%. In Canada, chance of getting a conviction despite 400 emails of evidence. When I drove down there to get my dad, December 19th, I think was when the 2019, I got him out of the hospital. The night before I arrived at 11 a.m. and I realized after the cleaning lady through text assured me the gate code was the same from when I'd been there just in the fall, late August, summer, that the key was in the lockbox. And when I got to the gate code and the gate code didn't work, it was 11 o'clock at night. I literally just pulled over. I panicked and then I pulled over and waited for somebody to get home, all but not even 2 minutes later. And I just drove in behind them. When I got to my dad's house, the key was taken out of the lockbox. And I told you all that the screens had been taken off the lanai because my dad had told the cleaning lady who asked me before I knew what she had done, that she facilitated helping my mom. She had stated that my dad said there was a very valuable piece of furniture in the home. And to this day, my dad had written a bank account on a wrought iron leg of a piece of furniture that I have. She didn't find it. And I didn't find it because it was outside in the lanai. And when I was forced to put the home up for sale and back in Canada, I had asked the realtor to spray wash the lanai area down. And sure as day, I'm drinking coffee the next morning after breaking into my dad's own home as his daughter. I had to break into the home because the key was gone, the gate code was gone, and only to find a pile of mail like this and all his homes in receivership in favor of my mom because they put the illegal liens on the homes, his homes, after 50 years of marriage, and she left him in favor of my mom. And then his business partners that were part of his business transactions, who was also his lawyer and sent my mom all the money, also didn't send him the business money they owed him. So he literally had no income, nothing. And so he started to foreclose on his payments. When I get down there, he's 3 months in arrears and almost dead. Sorry, it's very, very traumatic still to talk about. It was absolute hell on wheels for a year. I had to get restraining orders. I got threats. It was hell on wheels. And because she had the gate code, and yeah, I know, honey, I know, and everything else, and I couldn't get in, other than illegally. I had to get overridden, and it was just a shit show. It was not an easy process. Anyway, I have that piece of furniture here. He had told the cleaning lady there was a valuable piece of furniture, and I still have on. It's okay, Stuart. Thank you, honey. It's I just wanted to get justice for my dad. I could show you the bank account that he wrote on a piece of wrought iron like furniture. I've not been able to locate that bank to this day. So that's how yours truly got into true crime. I fell into it out of necessity, not, after losing all my clients, because I had to nurse my dad back to health. I had to detox him. He was drinking 60 ounces of vodka a day on ice, literally. Okay. I brought home through customs, which you're not allowed to, but they let me, 26 bottles of vodka because we were on a budget, and wasn't going to throw out 26 60-ounces from Walmart, 11 something each. My dad was drinking one a freaking day. Add the dementia to it, he would forget on ice. So I had to detox him. I got legal stuff. I'm trying to coach. I got threatening people showing up, threatening me, cleaning lady, 300 pounds, cracking her knuckles, fucking threatening me, sending her friends. I had to get restraining orders. The cops had to show up when they were there, arrest her, take her away. It was something else, man. It was something else. And to see that my dad's articling student was the one that facilitated and business partner, and he's gonna get away with it, it's still the most disheartening thing of my life. Like, I don't know that I'll ever recover from it. And the people that know the story, the details, have said I should write a book, because truly, when I hear this woman saying at the beginning of the stream, when police officers see an elder at risk, they jump. Well, I could tell you, not in fucking Ottawa, not in the Ottawa police. Ottawa police could give a rat's fucking ass. I tried to get to the FBI because it was international. It's the other reason the Ottawa police don't want any involvement, because it's international. It's too complicated. I tried the RCMP. I tried the local sheriff's office. Well, he was too trusting. It's like, what do you fucking think dementia is? I can tell you my experience is but oppositional, nothing but opposition to what these police say. That given that it was an elder, in fact, my conclusion, and this went all the way up to the Attorney General's office. I fought for 5 years for justice. That it's because he was an elder, they didn't give a shit. Not the other way. Because he was an elder. If this was narcotics and gangs and trafficking and, drugs on the streets and stuff, they would have given a shit. But an old elderly man, they didn't give a shit. So protect yourself. Protect yourself as an elder. I'm just saying. And I don't mean to be disrespectful to Stuart, a retired detective in the chat. That's just my experience. So, and it's extremely hard knowing that I got him a $600 million contract that I have in my closet. She also stole his FERPTA return, right? All that. And still, yeah, it's, they will all meet their mothers. Yeah, well, hopefully my mother does too. Hopefully, because my mother's a sociopath. Who managed to take his ex-partners in the business investment he was down there for and make them her attorneys, his accountant of 40 years, and his articling student. What would motivate them to turn against my dad other than they knew he had dementia and there was a fuckload of money, and I have a $600 million contract in my closet that my dad is signed. I emailed that guy because IRS told me before my mom had me removed. I faxed my power of attorney 5 times, keeps getting removed. That, and the one conversation I had, that there was a second work visa. Yeah, because they had taken him off his work visa. I found out about it. He asked for help, and I called a realtor I knew, and he happened to have the guy that was approved by the Canadian government. I'm not going to mention the company name, was looking for somebody to help get investors together to help distribute it in the US. And my dad worked on it. I heard him in conversations on it. I have the signed contract. It was supposed to come in the millions of dollars over months and a few years in time, up to 689 million or something to that effect, US. So would that make a judge and 3 lawyers who used to work for my dad turn against him? Yeah, I would say so. And it's very hard 5 years later to still be struggling because I lost all my coaching clients because my dad would take walks and wander, put water under an almost electrocute himself with extension cords and running water. And I would have to leave my coaching call to rescue my dad, and my clients were paying me $250 US an hour, and they didn't like that, and I don't blame them. Not to mention I was a devastating wreck. I had to get 16 crisis counseling sessions with the Ottawa police when I found out my mother and sister left my dad to die alone with dementia, no food, no water. He had pneumonia. He couldn't afford his prescription when they read him his last rites. And I only found that piece of paper after breaking into his home. Witnessed by the frickin' cleaning lady who called me on my birthday, December 8th, 2019, and asked me to send money. And I said, no, I'm not going to send money. Called my dad, called the police, and had him Baker acted while I was on the phone. He was Baker acted live. Called the hospital, said, I'm coming down. I need to get my car fully gassed. I need to get a safety and pack. I'll be on my way down. I'm in Vermont. You want to know where I am in Vermont? Roanoke, Vermont, where Michael McKee's from. I'm driving through Roanoke, Vermont, and I get a call from the hospital. The cleaning lady, we have just reported her to the police for elder abuse. She wants your dad's keys and bank cards. Only to find out my mom was the puppet master behind the whole thing. Mummy dearest. Yeah. Okay, everybody. That's it. That's all. So tell her to F you? Listen, you should write a book. I'm writing a book, but I decided I don't know. I just want to honor my dad, and I don't know if that's the best thing. So I am writing a book, but I'm writing a fictional series. It's called The Girl in the Red Room. I'm actually going to be releasing my first 4 chapters for free February 13th. It's a fictional series on trafficking and the trafficking world. It's about an FBI agent whose niece gets kidnapped, and she goes rogue and heads to Dubai to recover her niece undercover. So that I am writing, but yeah, I should. You go eat and have a break. I know I'm going, Lorna. But yeah, so I just don't know if I'll write that other book. She should go to hell with it. Yeah, oh, trust me. Listen, I lived 10 minutes away from her for quite a few years, and it was everything in my fiber not to drive over there. And I knew it wouldn't go down well for me if I did. So I know better than to go near her. That's why I'm not on Facebook, because I don't want anybody in my family or anybody of her friends, because I keep getting pop-up notifications. I'm not interested in it. I'm not interested in it. She's got her own hell to pay, and hopefully she will get her own karma. Okay, I'm out of here. We'll see you at 3 p.m. live for Melody Buzzard updates and Teppy murder updates. Thank you for being here. Love and light. Cheers. Do all the YouTube things if you could to help a girl out. Just do the like. Thank you. Love you. Thank you for being here. See you in 45 minutes for those of you that will be returning.